That's it. We are live again. Today is Monday, the 1st of October. Oh my goodness, 2018. Hello, chat room. Anybody in the chat room? And on the panel today is Astral and Gathaka or Arlo.
Hello.
Gathaka the Sea Eagle.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing, brother?
Gathaka the Sea Eagle.
Hello, Karen.
Getting colder here in France, but I'm good. I hope you're well. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's a
Nice
pleasure. People that haven't or don't know who Gathaka is, he's someone that's come on our Hangouts before, and he's a jolly fellow. And he might even play some music for us later on. And he plays the didgeridoo. Yeah. Gathaka. Why Gathaka of what was it again? Say what your channel is.
Gathaka, well, the Gathaka the Sea Eagle, and then I've got a backup account that's Gathaka G.
Just explain why Gathaka the Sea Eagle. What's that about?
Well, that comes from the meaning of the word Gathaka, which is from the Yolngu tribe in the northeast of Australia. I went up there back in 2008. And I attended a Liedtke masterclass or didgeridoo course up there with the tribesmen of the Galpo clan. And they gave me the name Gathaka, which means sea eagle. So Gathaka is the sea eagle, or the Gathaka, which is the bird that fishes in the ocean for fish. Not your regular land bird, it's more of a seabird. And that was my family name given to me when I had my first. I had a really amazing dream experience after spending the first day or two with the tribe, and learned to play the instrument that's called Liedtke, or didgeridoo is a common term, international term for the woodwind instrument, which is one of the oldest in the world. And so the name Gathaka is the name I use as a musician and artist, because I also enjoy painting and constructing instruments as well. I'm making a couple of clay ocarinas at the moment. That's pretty fun stuff. Yeah,
okay. Clay what?
I can give you a demo.
Hey, you made that, did you?
I want one. I really do.
Yeah, I formed it with clay and some water, and there's a tutor on YouTube. You can just type in ocarina. It's an old clay whistle. It comes from it's pretty old, the history of the clay whistle, or the ocarina. You know, it's known from the Zelda cartoon or video game. You might be familiar with the Ocarina of Time.
Right.
And that's for any gamers out there know what I'm talking about. And its origins pretty mysterious. And I saw a documentary about some old Inca and Spanish flute whistles that were made to create certain overtones and frequencies which help with healing and contacting animals and deeper parts of the consciousness in the brain, just using frequencies.
Can I ask how many holes does it have? 8.
And it depends on the model. You can start off basically.
Yeah. The one that you've got there, though, how many holes has that got? It sounds really nice, that. You have to play some more, actually, really.
It's a pentonic scale, but I haven't fully tuned it yet, so it's got 5 holes on it. Thanks. Yeah, I've got this other one I made earlier. It's drying out quite nicely.
Patricia's joined us. Hi, Patricia.
Yeah, hi, Patricia.
Oh, great. Hi, Patricia. Yeah, ocarinas are crazy fun. I just this all happened a few years ago. I was looking for something new to get my fingers into. And I decided I'd like to look at just ocarinas came up, clay whistles. I was thinking about making clay didgeridoo, and I stumbled across the making of ocarinas, and had to look at the videos a few times to get different ideas and techniques. And then if you can basically form a empty pocket and manage to, there's a few principles to learn making a whistle, where the air hole should blow into and how sharp it should be. And when you practice and fail a few times, you start getting it. And from there, you can create chambers and drill holes in them and tune them so you can actually have a functioning instrument, which is not that hard to do, but so much fun. Like, it's really, really satisfying.
Yeah, Gathaka or Arlo, he loves his music, don't you?
I enjoy playing music. I think that's the thing. Yeah, I enjoy finding that space where you can have that expression or a jam, and to feel inspired. I think that's a tricky thing as well, because you can if you're always with the music, it's sort of, you have to be able to take time off things to come back to them, so you get you're not losing inspiration. So that's why I've always found myself trying out different sort of jobs and different approaches to expressing art and making arts and crafts. That's a really thing I enjoy doing, is making things using materials from nature, and trying to give them three purposes to really make them art. Like, they have to sort of be pleasing aesthetically, and also serve other, like, a functionality. They must have functionality, and they must be useful, which is that's
before we came on there, you said that you call yourself an earther now.
Oh, well, an earther that's not spherical. Yes, it's just to avoid the label of flat earther. But I'm happy with flat. The earth not being a sphere is a premise to me being a flat earther. Yes, that's. I'm not making a statement to be ridiculed by people that have no idea that whole dialectic of round earth, flat earth is encore a way of, is being used to separate and fragment consciousness on this plane.
Just to explain that you're an Australian, but you live in France now, don't you?
Yep, that's correct. I'm Australian born.
Is there lots of flat earthers in France, or are they not into all that? I remember being in France and watching their telly, and their telly's about 20 years behind ours, so it wouldn't surprise me if they don't even heard of flat earth.
Yeah, I think, well, it's a little underground. Apparently, after America, there's as many flat earthers in France. I'm not sure if they all work for the government.
I don't understand. They've got their own tower. They can see the whole of Paris and on from up there.
Indeed, that's true. Although with all that smog, you'd find it hard to get some good visibility.
Sometimes it is a bit, well, yeah, because you're almost in the clouds on top of that thing.
That's a good point. You'd have to get up there when there's some good winds blowing favourably for visibility to be measured from up there.
Real frosty winter morning.
I've been to the lower levels a lot, right? But then the last time I went right up to the top, and there is a glass thing in there which you can look through and you can see right down to the bottom from the top inside.
Yeah, I was at the Pyrenees Mountains. It was some pretty good viewing from there. I could see Toulouse about 200 kilometres, 250 kilometres, so around 200 miles away. And then there was that was like not even near the horizon line. So there was, I did some calculations. There's I think if you had to put an infrared filter on from those sort of height distances, you might have a bit more.
Infrared, yeah.
We might have a bit more chance of getting some more accurate non-measurements of non-curvature. So it's a bit of a non sequitur issue at this stage, if you ask me.
Gathaka, what was it for you though? Because obviously, not many people in the chat room might know who you are, but as I said, you've come on Sun and Moon before months ago. But what was it for you that made you realise we weren't a spinning ball?
Well, it all started for me when, looking back at it, when I was looking at photos of the moon landings, and I was studying photography at the time and light sources, and I saw there was some conflicting shadows in the actual official photos. So I thought, gee, that looks a bit dodgy. I wonder if they actually did go to the moon. Maybe they were stopped by, someone or something, or down the way I thought, and then that set me on the bit of a conspiracy train to try and find out actually more about sciences and the history of and anthropology, where man comes from, and there's then some questions I had with the sort of Darwinism evolution theory that I was sort of learnt at school, and some of the history books started changing back then, and all sorts of weird stuff was going on. So the globe model I just naturally inherently thought was right. And when, for me, was probably around mid 2015 that, like often so many people I talk with as well also report that just came up on their radar, and they sort of passed it off and thought, oh, that's a silly thing to have on my watch next list. And a couple of weeks passed and it came up again, and I thought, well, I better have a look at it because it could be worth a laugh. And from then I was about 3 months later of doing nothing but getting up in the morning and writing questions down and going researching and sub-researching and trying to verify things, and just really sort of had to go back to basics about everything. I sort of had to suspend my reality for a moment, which is quite hard because managing a normal sort of life and coming to certain truths, you have to keep quiet about it for a while until you're sure. And so a lot of people, I was probably in the same sort of boat. But it's just about getting in there and keeping, learning to think and express for yourself what you think, and then only then can you question the other things. And because, I think it's important to still maintain a sense of well-being and trust in each other and the ability to get jobs done when it has to be done.
Is your partner into Flat Earth?
Well, by default, we sort of we all are. I can't really speak for her. She's she's done a lot of research. She's also seeing a similar pattern, how it can be sort of used as a divisional tactic, stay flat or round or this or that. Because I think there might be multiple like points. There might be 4 dioelectromagnetic points that you need to sort of suspend an Earth. So the plane within the Earth we're on is part of a greater system as well somehow.
Yeah, I don't know if you.
Yeah, she's flat Earth.
We're kind of waiting to hear, but supposedly Des Walsh has gone to the edge. So yeah.
I heard about that. Yeah, that's should be interesting to see the results of that. Mm.
So the little video was a little bit strange, that he did look like he was standing against the hedge. And I heard this bird going, rip, rip, and I thought, oh, but we don't know where he's gone, and he's not going to give very much away, and hopefully today or tomorrow they're going to get this evidence. Oh, please, Flat Earth, we could really do with it, some evidence. because we're all talking, aren't we? Because everybody's got what they think and their ideas, and where, you know, you can't help it when you hit flat Earth. It's how you that's where you carry on from. But none of us know for sure, do we, what anything is? Or, I mean, like, I put a video out yesterday of the disappearing moon. You know, like, it's not real. So we don't have any idea about where we live, really. We don't.
That's an honest statement, and there's wisdom in that, because I think you have to appreciate that we don't actually know before you can even get to the next step of asking honestly, well, where, what the heck is it? Without treading on too many toes. But I think some toes sort of need to be trodden on, and where it's up to each individual to, you know, be their part to replant that ancient memory, that to regrow that forest, that connection.
To tell everybody that we're on this spinning ball. I mean, if anybody really thought about what a rotating life would really be like, you know, if we were actually rotating and, you know, like, well, you're going a tiny bit faster than me because you're in France. I mean, it's all just stupid. It just doesn't happen.
It's quite astounding, really. And the theory to be proven relies on a string of other ideas that rely on other ideas that go on into mathematical, theoretical explanations of stars and light years and astrophysics, and
which is a load of rubbish.
It goes really quickly beyond anything we can actually see or measure in our beautiful, simple environment, which it's not complicated to grow a tree. You plant a seed and you take care and water it, and trees grow. You know, crush some crystal dust into the soil, some crystal dust to increase the piezoelectric charge when you water it, and sunshine will do the rest, or even electricity will do the rest. Or, you know.
Can I say something, Gathaka?
Yo, Astral.
What I find so incredible is that, you know, you take a seed, a little seed, and it becomes a tree. How does it? Do you understand what I mean? Where does it get that growth from?
It's the same way but us, Astral, as humans.
Yeah, I know that.
And then suddenly, 9 months later, there's a human.
Whoop-de-dupty. Thanks, Karen, for spoiling my high there. But a tree from a seed.
It's like a memory of a forest in one seed. If you just plant one seed and let it grow, then it'll actually be a forest.
Yeah, exactly. That thought there, yeah.
I mean, trees are nice. Trees are great. It's a shame that we'd have to live in cement boxes. Think it'd be lovely to have tree houses everywhere, like live with Ewoks, like in Star Wars.
Yeah, the trees are very important to us, though. You know, they vibrate and they do things, and we need that. And they're electric, and we need them. We need the trees.
Yep. Like I'd like to see trees grow in a spinning ball. That's cool.
Yeah, and I mean, if gravity was real, how could the tree grow up like that? Surely it'd be wanting to come back down and be on the ground. If it can keep oceans stuck to it, then it was going to bring a tree down, isn't it? It's going to start bending down. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a house of cards. The whole conundrum.
So sorry, what's France like then? Do you think more French people are becoming flat earthers, or
apparently, yeah, it's quite underground. The more and more people, there's sort of some interesting ecological movements happening in France, and there's also issues with immigration and just it's policies that get outdated, and certain factions working to try and avoid conflicts and stuff on borders and stuff. It's a tricky and it's sensitive sort of stuff when companies and people that represent those companies, they sort of have their livelihoods at stake, but still companies can't actually be blamed for actual being really
because they're in the system
held responsible for certain actions that are happening. You know what I mean? So I stay out of politics and all that stuff. But it's interesting to skim over and have a look at. But there's a deeper truth sort of going on, and in any way we can share that truth in real life with our fellow brother and man, and just refine. Yeah, I think in oneself to refine the wonder in the stars. You know, when you just go outside and you look and the stars are all bright. That deep wonder is something that sort of could be sort of all a little bit more or less more with each other all the time. You know, something that we've forgotten. That's the key. That wonder, that understanding, and to keep that curiosity, because that would dissolve. You dissolve lies and in a second, you know, that sort of that depth of character that you see in some of the ancients, especially some of the lovely elders I met in the north of Australia. It's an unbelievable part of the world.
I think because we're put so much into the plastic 80s, plastic. When we wake up, we appreciate nature a lot more, don't we? Trees, the plants, just the understanding of even how they work and so forth. It's just everything changes, doesn't it?
Well, when you grow your own garden, it is a good feeling. Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely.
Is that what you do? Do you grow all your own stuff?
Not at all. Far from it. But I try and eat bioorganic as much as possible. There's, you know, what I've been having a problem with gardening. It's not through lack of motivation, but the fact that I've often changed from Europe to Australia the last few years. So I haven't had time to really reap the rewards of harvest time, you know. So you have to be there all year round for your garden, and I'm travelling every 6 to 9 months. So I haven't been able to really get a good garden in this year. Maybe next year. Maybe next fall.
It's a bit quite nicely sized in France because, you know, we live in rabbit runs here in the UK, and they're trying to make everything smaller and smaller. So do you have a nice sized garden and stuff where you are?
Well, here we're in the southwest of France, and we have a little garden there with a lovely oak tree, and it's pretty good. There's room to do some veggies and stuff. Especially this side of France, there's lots of space. It's sort of known for its agriculture.
So what, are you the Bondi then? Are you that part? Or are you a bit lower?
You know where Toulouse is?
Right.
City. It's northeast from there.
So you're not by the sea then?
No, about 2.5 hours from the sea. Yeah, we're a little bit inland.
Did you have a hot summer this summer like we did?
It was lovely summer, yeah, not too hot. Well, it's a great summer. Those chemtrails kept us warm and cool at the same time.
Kept us buzzing.
Yeah.
Fizzing. We were fizzing.
Yeah, warm and cool at the same time. That's it.
What's your take on those things? I mean, I was watching Space Busters, and basically what he was saying was that the planes are only making those trails if it's planes, because I have people sent me pictures afterwards of military planes with these things on the side with the chemtrails coming out. But if a plane's doing it, it's actually water, and from because obviously it's compressing the air, and that's what you're.
Could well be, yeah. Could well be. There's. Well, I mean, it's been around.
I saw a plane. Sorry to interrupt you there, Gathaka.
Jump in, mate. No, you're right, mate.
I saw a plane today, a jet. It was Norwegian because I could see the white body and a red nose. You recognise that? Fairly high up as well. Nothing coming out of it. Absolutely nothing. you know, clear blue sky, not frosty or anything. So I don't know what was going on there. Nothing was coming out of it. Incredible.
Do you think that they're full of horrible chemicals? Because obviously few doctors are now saying that it isn't, like, you know, you can get diseases from this stuff and you become ill. So, you know, and most people think it's got barium and strontium and all these other things in there. So do you think that?
Well, it may well have. Who knows what sort of fancy new age fuels they're using these days.
I must admit, I couldn't believe it the other day when I turned around and saw that sun. I mean, I've taken loads of pictures of corpuscular rays, but this was this sort of lined cloud all over the sun, and it made the sun look like, you know, like they draw the sun with little diamonds on the sides of it, which you call it, like sun shining. You know, this thing wasn't round; it had jagged edges on it through the cloud. It's just so weird.
Yeah,
I can
crazy.
see these weird ribbed clouds up there, and when I see them I think HARP. That's what I think.
Are they making the Earth flat or something? Are they geoengineering it flat again, maybe?
If anybody really thought about it, with radio, HARP, all these things, it would never work on a globe. It can only work because we want something flat.
Well, what's an interesting thing I fished out of the archives was the British signal mirroring record. They call it like a heliograph. It's how they used to pass messages on mountain peaks to each other years ago. And back in the old days, they used to do it with fires on towers, doing along the mountains, along the highest points, so they could pass messages. They'd light a fire in a tower and then screen it off and on to pass messages to the other towers. And then now with they had the sun, the heliograph is a reflection of the sun, so it's like you can do Morse code by flashing it over another point. And the record they got was it's over 180 miles, I believe, 184 miles or something in India.
I was going to say I think it's even more than that. I looked into that as well a while back. Yeah, but yeah, they're immense distances. Yeah.
So there's some sort of refraction happening there as well. Light suddenly bending over the.
Hey, Gathaka, did you see I was with GoPro, who's in the chat room, GoPro Flat Earth, and we were standing in the car park at Silbury Hill, and I can't say the distance. It could have been it wasn't maybe a quarter of a mile, but we're getting on for a distance. We were in the car park, and we looked over and we were going, look at the size of the pyramid. And the further you walk to the fence where other people were standing, when you got there, you realised there was a field between you and the pyramid. But in the car park, it didn't look like that. It looked like the pyramid was almost on the fence. And I thought that was really strange. So Enslaved by No Media talks about that, how things look bigger further away than they do when you start getting closer. And what do you make of all that then, as you were talking about that sort of?
Optical phenomena is there's some absolutely amazing stuff you can do with refracting crystals and with light and separating colors and the angles and even frequencies used in light. That's sort of what, that's different frequencies are making the colors and then the sound, and it's the whole sort of it's not a field I'm more into, sound and stuff like that, but how it translates over into light is really interesting. So the refraction argument for the globe, although I can't see how it would work, because coming back to what you said earlier about corpuscular and anti-corpuscular rays, you can't, have it report a globe that light would refract, proving you could see long distances. yet there's the opposite thing happening if one would believe in the anti-crepuscular curving theory. Like it's the same lie used twice. You know, it's to do with, you know, the globe model that we can pick apart like Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, but you need to know how many peckers Peter Piper picked.
Precisely. What made you get into sound then? Because you like music.
Well,
we've all got to come at different angles and do our bit, haven't we? We're doing the same.
I think, honestly, yeah, probably a few too many sports injuries.
Right.
I needed to find something else to do with my hands, so I decided to choose music as an elective in high school because I'm either passionate playing sports. Sometimes I'd be injured, so I couldn't actually play. So I decided to learn music when I was repairing injuries from doing sports like acrobatics, and did a bit of trampolining and springboard diving, stuff like that.
What else have you done then? I didn't even know that.
I really enjoy surfing or bodyboarding, so I'm not crazy enough to stand up like surfers are, and smart enough to have some fins on me in case the waves want to try and take you under. So that's another passion of mine, surfing, and it's the overwhelming realization, although it came quite quickly to me to realize that there's massive indoctrination going on in the world, and it's like you sort of feel obliged to have an opinion and to avoid, you know, confusion in the matter, because there's seems to be some confusion in the issue of the fact that there is obvious, I don't know, rats in the camp. things need to be set straight. That's all. So I have found it so. I'm passionate about researching all different fields of study with, I don't know, every subject, but I don't write things down or remember them or want to recall a script per se. I like having direct flow and conversation with people about, I don't know, different points of view, alternative points of view. And so that the fact that the Earth can't be proved, really, I haven't seen any objective scientific proof that a globe, only lies and deception from deception from deception and an excuse from excuse from excuse that's still supposed to keep this paradigm together. I can't see it continuing. So, you know, cheers to everyone that's actually having a look into their reality and starting to have a say about it. And excellent. Should be curious, because only we can change it together.
That's right. We can only do this together. We all have our opinions and ideas, but we can only move forward together. It's the only way. And it's not something we're sort of, I don't even like using this word, but trained for, is it? We're trained to the globe and narcissism.
That's a good word to put it in, a good pocket to put into, narcissism. Yeah, it's a little like that, and then it gets you can fold the complication out and squeeze it out, and you have two, or you have rich and poor, and you can fold that again and hammer it out again, and then you have, you know, politics and left and right and people, and it's like gold. You can just keep smashing it, and it just gets thinner and thinner and thinner, but it's still gold. And then when there's no weight to the proof, you have to sort of you have to melt it down and start again, you know.
A lot of people can't do that though, can they? Because, you know, that's the bit. We almost have to, even if we didn't understand all the globe and the maths and everything ourselves, you sort of have to learn more about that so that you can explain it back to them. You need to sort of do double homework when you don't really, you know, want to learn even more about the globe, but you need to if you're going to explain anything against it. And yeah, it sort of opens up. So we're sort of educating ourselves now, aren't we?
That's like you just took the words exactly out of my mouth. Yeah, it helps to educate ourselves and then understand how that can be in the world. There may or may not be situations where we can affect change or that harmony and synchronize it with ourselves at the same time. I don't think we should reduce our own synchronicity just to save others if they're not finding harmony. We can only come halfway. There's that push me, pull you sort of thing. You have to grease the wheels. You can't go from first gear straight to fourth. You have to sort of learn to ease it through and give each other a hand. I think is a really good like a hand with we're open thinking, open source knowledge, and that doesn't, in a competitive world, even where ideas are competitive, resources are competitive, it's sort of it's a treat. It's a hard it's sort of like a utopia that sort of doesn't actually exist. So but it's what you sort of have those moments that are really amazing and where you communicating deeply to and from existence. That's the greatest moments in life, you know, I think. And that I found that comes through music and connection with the people and you know, having a good old barbecue and playing some jams together. That's
with the trees.
In the trees. That's it.
With the trees, because I know you like being outside. Sam in the chat room. Hello, chat room, everybody that's there and listening into this hangout. Sam's put, where is it? Emotional manipulation is the name of the game. That's what they've done to us, emotionally manipulated us.
Well, yeah, we can break that down all the way to the cows come home. It's a multi-pronged attack, and we sort of learned it. We've only adopted our own techniques of learning, haven't we, really? I mean, have you ever seen the movie The Cube? That's a killer film. Cube.
I don't know. Do you watch much telly anymore? I couldn't tell you what film was out. I don't know any of it. I don't really know what's going on the news. I haven't watched the television now for about 2 weeks in all, but I'll just pop the odd thing on. But I can't watch the telly anymore. You turn it on, and once you realise the programs are there to make you feel crap, what's the point?
Yeah, it's been about 2 years since I've watched telly, like owned a telly, I should say. But yeah, there's a film that's called The Cube. It's quite interesting to look up. Not that I watch many films every now and then, probably every 3 or 4 months might put on a film, a bit more or less regularly the last month or two. But I don't know.
Also, for me, Gathaka, when you know that nearly every film that you're watching has all these special effects on it, and like 90% of the film's done on a green screen without the backgrounds and all that, what's the point?
Oh, I've been watching it just to look at the sort of the script work and the sort of little interesting nuances and clues it put in there and little references to the globe and stuff. I find it quite amusing sometimes. So seeing it with new eyes, seeing it with a different set of eyes. But
hey, as you're here, and I said that you might play a bit of music, will you play something then? Play your didgeridoo.
I can get a didge out. You guys ready for a bit of that? All right.
Yeah, you're also really good on the guitar, aren't you, as well?
I do a couple of. I know about 3 blues tunes and blues chords, and that's about.
Oh, chat room, would you like to hear some music?
There's the chat room there. I should open the chat room in the other window.
We all want to hear some music. I'm sure we do. Something different for a change. The didgeridoo, or what do you call it by its traditional name?
It's called Liedtke. Yeah, Liedtke. Yidaki. Liedtke, or with an R. Liedtke.
Yeah.
But it depends on the tribe because it's got different names.
Yeah. Chat room said yes. Bring it on.
All right. Okay. We can try. It's coming through. I'll do a sound test and we'll see how it comes through.
When you're ready to go, I'll mute because it's better when we all mute.
Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Okay, then go on then, Gaffers. Yeah. Can I just say you're a little bit far from the microphone? Just a little bit. We heard it, but it was a little bit far away.
Okay.
That was a bit different anyway.
Should I get closer?
Yeah, I'll mute myself again.
All right. Better?
Yeah, that's better. We can hear that.
Yeah, that's
now.
better.
Okay. Yo.
Whoa, that was you're doing that breath, aren't you? That was probably quite long. I was thinking, can you hold?
I bet you're knackered. I bet you're knackered now, aren't you?
The tricks in the breathing. Yeah.
But it's something I've tried playing one once, and believe me, I couldn't. But I've heard other people play them, and it's something about you have to try and get some sort of resonance going, and it's an instrument you have to sit and feel. And I believe I sat in a teepee listening to it, and you have to sit in a teepee and listen to one, because then you'll experience it, like you'll feel it, because it's music you feel rather than hear. If you know, yeah, don't you?
Better when it's coming straight at you. Yeah, the microphone, definitely. But I'm not sure. Thanks, everyone in the chat. Cool. I'm not sure how the sound came out, but I know any didge is a good didge. I reckon. We all got a bit of didgeridoo doing this.
We can have a listen to you playing your ocarina, possibly.
Yeah, I've got this. I got another one. got a different one.
Play a little tune on that if you can.
Okay, I've got one here. Oh, that didn't go quite to plan. I think I've got some more tuning to do on that one.
Yeah.
It's got such a nice mellow sound. I can eat some, definitely. It's on my list now.
Thanks, man. I've been practicing them for the first time I started making them was about 2 years ago, and I've stopped since then. I've just come back to making them again. So these is my two premiere prototypes. This is the other one that I made. It's a bit lower. Trying to play Bob Marley there. Hang on, I'll do something for you. Way, woohoo! Gotta go! Yo!
Yeah, Gathaka. Yeah, because we are doing this live, aren't we? You know,
That's kind of cool. That.
somebody
Yeah,
else
that's
like
cool.
coming on the chat room and start playing live on a hangout.
Turning back now.
I thought you said it was Bob Marley. It sounded like The Lion Sleeps Tonight to me.
I changed it from Bob Marley because I don't have the sixth note in it yet, and then I did a quick change to Lion in the Jungle. That's it. I started off. It was the opening of Bob Marley, but yeah, I just switched it. You're right.
Well, as you've been playing music then, and we're on the music bit, will you play us one of your blues songs then?
Oh dear, no. Well, I haven't got the guitar tuned. A blues song? I couldn't say no. Of course I can. A blues song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's turning into a right evening tonight, I tell you. It doesn't matter if it's not tuned. When you sing blues, it'll sound fine.
No, it's okay. It's gonna call it the Earth, and it's gonna be tuned in B flat. So let's everybody just tune your Earth to the key of B flat, but it's the same as C sharp. It just depends on the way you're tuning it.
Okay, you're going to play then, because I'll mute myself.
I will give it a go. Not really warm, guys. It's like fresh off the press.
Gathaka.
Oh, that's cool. Love those harmonics at the end as well, man. Beautiful. That's so good.
Cool.
So good. Love it.
I was still in tune. Yeah.
Thank you, Gathaka. I much appreciate that, because you probably didn't know till about 5 minutes before you came on that I was going to go, oh, will you play something tonight?
No, I did, but I didn't practice warming up, because I got a guitar that actually, for once, it stays in tune, and so I can pick it up and play it, and I know it's going to sound okay. It's a pretty cool thing too. Because I play classical guitar, so I like to, with nylon strings, so I like to thrash the strings around a bit, and they tend to come unstuck, untuned if you're playing. Not, you have to sort of get a good one, then so you can, and pre-stretch your strings so they won't go out of tune. Get some good strings and a good guitar, and because it's one thing as playing little bit of guitar is, for years I'd have an instrument that would always go out of tune, and then your battery tuner would run out of batteries, and so. But if you can tune by ear, then you're doing pretty good without a tuner, and
Oh, we appreciate
some of
people
the
who play music. It's just nice. And, we do quite a lot of very heavy, deep hangouts. So it's always nice to just try and have a mix of different earthers. Yeah. You're going to play us another one then?
Gee, I think I can if I shall.
Maybe if we're all muted and it's a really nice tune, someone might even make a song with it. You know how creative people are.
Well, you never know. Could make a song. Could make a good one. Could make a bad one. I don't know if I have one yet. Hang on. Let's just take some requests from the chat and see what we should make the song about, and what rhythm it should have. Let's get we can get everyone involved.
Chat room, what kind of music do you want to hear, or just give some suggestions, see if he can do it? They'll probably ask something ridiculous he won't be able to do, but
how about I've got one. We can do one. It's called When My Globe Earth Left Me. It's by Elvis. It's well, it's not by Elvis, but it's a remake of Elvis. When my globe earth left me, when my globe earth left me. No, do you want to do it? We can do it.
Go on. It sounds interesting. Sure.
No, I don't think we can do it. Dang.
You're not going to do it now.
Hang on. It depends if the sound's coming out good.
It sounded quite good then.
You're just a bit closer to the mic. You'll be fine. Your voice was good, but
is that the mic down there? Is that better sounds?
Yeah, nice there.
Just checking that, guys. When my globe left me, I found a new place to stay. Now the old flat earth and tell. I heard that she left me today. Did a Coriolis effect and she was out of my reach. Oh baby, let's go. Where'd you go, my little globe? I left her down in the flat lands, flat land without no global motion. That'll do, guys. Cut the tape.
Well done.
Yeah, but, you know, honestly, it takes about 15 minutes to sort of get warmed up on the strings. So I'm really quite shy to sing at the same time as playing. It takes training for your brain hemispheres to merge and be able to do it effectively. But if you can do it, then it sounds pretty good, I think. But I can't really sing and play. It's cool that you can play along and just try and keep a normal conversation going while you're doing a little background strumming, which is interesting. And if you've ever tried to do it, it's actually quite tricky for you learning instruments and talking at the same time.
Yeah, I imagine, doing two things at once sometimes. Lots of people can do two things at once, but I imagine playing music and singing and trying to talk at the same time is all quite difficult.
Pretty tricky. That's where it's great. We live in an age with recording. We can do a bass rhythm and then loop it back over and sing a rhythm on top. That's pretty lucky.
So, Gathaka, just asking, what's the things you hate the most about what's happened to the civilization and what they've done to us? What's the bit that gets you the most, or have you gone past all that now and you just moving?
Yes, I do not compute with the word hate. Hate is a hateful word. Hate.
Dislike.
No, dislike. Well, try and even thumbs up and even thumbs down. I dislike bad deeds, inaccurate media reporting, legions of satanic squires scrabbling their way to an assumed wealth of absolute treasonous scoundrelism on behalf of mankind and nature. The pilgriming and taking and killing and of old cultures and stealing their knowledge and stealing their and hiding it under the table for all of us to not even have a chance in the game is not something I endure to enjoy.
It's killing cultures, isn't it? Killing language. It's killing it. They just are trying to push us into one thing.
We're chosen to be in this together, but we're not all in this together. So yeah, there's dirty work. There's some dirty hands at play, and has been in the past. But I think that could be maybe reason further that of suffering, that DNA memory almost that we sort of know in ourselves, but we don't want to put ourselves responsible anymore. So the ones that caught in the game, like their only way out of that is inevitable falling of the system if it's not within themselves. But that's it's just one thing I'm not for is being dishonest with our lovely children, our lovely offspring.
Yes,
lovely. The porters of the flame, the new generation of which we were and we all are. And remembering those, instead of things being digitally online, we actually had access to each other's communities, each other's work, and was more based on our sort of more of a trade system. Now it's a lot of on like knowledge. You can't really put a permit on knowledge, or ways to come up with ability, different systems to achieve sustainability. Like that shouldn't be in a thing that's oppressed or prosecuted against, as you see so often the case.
But they don't want us growing our own vegetables and talking and cultures and history and native people. They don't want all.
That's what we should all do. Everyone should do that.
Do you appreciate your more native Australians now with what you know about flat Earth and all? I know you say you're an earther now, but you know, like all the cultural things. I mean, they must be laughing at us, really.
Well, he who has the last laugh lasts longest. In terms of proving heliocentrism, that's a laugh that'll go a long way, because I'm sick of worrying about what other people think.
It's
that
like
if I think it's flat,
they've taken away nature.
The
And
joke's
it's all man-made. It's just everything man-made now, you know, and we're just walking on man-made things, aren't we? They're distracted and took us away from nature. That's where it's at, and that's what I believe, or that's my understanding of things.
Well, yeah, I think at the same time, your system as a human, you can still have a grounding mat underneath your computer and still discharge your positive ions and promote negative ions in your blood, just as if you were grounded on a sandy bank in the beach or deep in the mountains on an old living tree. You get the same energy discharge if you can have a grounding mat and sort of get the same physical effects as being in nature, even when you're not in nature. So I don't know, like same as in nature, you can have bloody Wi-Fi signals penetrating your divine urethral antenna from unfurling through the delicate electro
that's true. They're everywhere, aren't they?
Finding the stars, my brother. Yeah, you can't find your inner compass, man, to unlock those keys where you fly in the underworld. You can go deep. You can breathe deep and wonder and invoke those old tokens. I don't know. It's like a race, man. Our Aboriginals to say you have to find your water hole and know where your water hole is. Oh, Astral dropped.
Yeah, I just saw that. Oh, well, we get internet problems. You probably run out of power.
Dang, low battery.
Yeah, the low battery.
So what's the old thing really good thing we can do is sing songs when we're walking together and sing on our daily path. That's really good. Singing and dancing in our step. That's what we do, like going to collect water together in the old times. We walk to the water and we get to know where the water is, where we're camping, where we're forget about singing. Singing's good, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah, we'd be sort of like now we don't play it, do we? We watch it. Everything we're watching, not doing anything. We're not growing. We're buying everything. We're doing it outly, and you know, it's quite easy to grow microgreens. You only need a windowsill for them.
Yeah, alfalfa sprouts and stuff. They're so cool.
Going over. I don't know if anybody can hear that.
Well, that's what a good reason for me in really enjoying France that a little bit more is having access to rural veggies and good bioorganic stuff, farms and stuff.
Do you feel like you're a bit of a European now, or do you miss that? Do you miss Australia?
I'm almost like a dual citizen. No, I'm still Australian. As Australian, you can take Australian Australia out of the bush, but you never take the bush out of an Australian. That's what
Are you really good at speaking French?
Yeah, I speak near fluent French. Near fluent. Nearly fluent.
Speak a little bit of French then. Go on.
What a Canadian dialect or northern,
Oh,
southern?
do both.
Bit of a
Do
croissant
both.
dedans. Bonsoir, messieurs, dames. Ici, c'est la famille de Soleil et la Lune. Merci de nous rejoindre cette soir. Je souhaite une soirée pleine de merveilles et d'amour. Je vous souhaite une très bonne continuation, messieurs, dames. Bonne soirée. Gathaka G. There you go. I did a French shout out for your channel.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I made about 5 errors, but that's okay. I'll get better.
Anyway, you're part of Sun and Moon, aren't you, on the Facebook group?
I'm there.
So what have you been doing with yourself just sort of in the last few months? Because I haven't seen you around that much. Have you been getting on with?
I've been surfing. I've been getting in some waves before the winter time hits. So I've been chasing curvy water, Karen.
Bendy water.
Real curvy stuff.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it if there's any bendy. Well, I suppose actually there are waves, aren't there? So that's kind of bendy water, but not in a hole. The whole of the sea. Do you talk to people about flat Earth, or do you sort of not bother?
I do. When there are moments right, definitely. It was a shame I didn't have my phone to record an interview with 3 Dutch students in the coast this late summer last, and we had quite an interesting conversation at the ice cream bar, and we got talking about moon landings and different conspiracies, and then when I mentioned flat Earth, they were very curious. Their eyes widened up. They said, like, "Oh, you're for real? Like, we've heard about this. What's going on?" And we had a really good chat about. We were close to the. We were right on the beach, so we could do some observations for ourselves, and gave them a couple of sort of videos to go and look at. 200 proofs being a good one, an eye-opener for anyone that does want factual stuff. It sort of blows your mind open when you actually sit there and do listen to it, because it gives you other stuff to go and research. And the conversation, it was really interesting. It lasted about 25 minutes. But I didn't actually get it recorded, but we had a really interesting conversation. And I arranged for them to come and the next day do an interview, but the time and have it that didn't happen. We didn't see each other, but there may be other occasions, because it's a really interesting thing to talk about with, and
that's if they want to talk about it, though, because a lot of people don't, do they? They get, like, the one thing that a lot of people say, that when they try and talk about anything, they just the glare, the stare, you're mad, and then that's it. Just change the subject immediately.
Oh yeah, but I think that's not the person that you sort of could really talk about it with, And there's other.
Yeah, I think you'll understand that. These people aren't on the same frequency, are they? It's a frequency thing, I think. You resonate with people.
Yeah, I think you do. It's something I was actually thinking about the other day, Karen, is how we sort of, language is sort of a frequency, but we're missing that balanced feeling behind our own carings with each other,
I do appreciate, because even if you don't like it, very often when they do the Eurovision Song Contest, they'll always do at the beginning, like that country's, I don't know, traditional thing. We've got maypole dancers, going ching, 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 ching with bells. Running around a maypole, doing the knotting round the pole. Other countries, they do have nicer traditional things, I think, but it is sad when you lose all these traditions, isn't it? Because nobody cares about them anymore. But that's because that's the way that they're making society, isn't it? Into zombies.
Maypole dance, yeah, I remember that one.
So there's not a very nice story about that, really. I think that there was people on the maypole and they were killing them. Really, that's what it was about.
Yeah.
Originally.
Yep.
But the thing is that none of us run around with bells on our ankles and wrists, going with little things in our hands, going ching 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 ching. We don't do all that. We don't meet each other like that. But that's our traditional dance, maypole dancing.
Well, I've danced with some Hare Krishnas that do a pretty good the bell impression. We dance for hours. They're great fellas. Oh yeah.
So what do? Do you have like music days in your house, or just people come?
We've got well, this week we're doing English conversations. So anyone would like to PM me if you're in Southwest France, we're doing tea and conversation. It's good for native French speakers learning English, because it's quite popular in France to learn English. A lot of communication and presses and movies and videos, English related. There's words now in the French language that are English words that are incorporated in. So there's lots of room for growth and development in a little. Well, it's a bit difficult because France has different laws and it's a whole different structure, really.
Do you think that's one reason why language has been changed? Because we only won by a flicker, didn't we? But English language was the one that was chosen. And as most of the other languages do it back, their wording is back to front to ours, or we're back to front to them. How could we be talking in ye old English? Ye old English. Imagine trying to bring all that in. So they had to cut it all down to make it more basic so that everybody would then be able to speak English.
I think it's amazing how we can, no matter what language we can speak, we were trained to speak, we can always relearn different sort of language, different way of communication. It's possible through total immersion, but it's if you must be able to displace what you mean, what think a sound means, and create a different meaning for it. Technically, that's true. That's true expression, is not even really using language, just using our intuition. Our intuition is the language. So the more simplified and beautiful and simple our language is to each other, the more we feel deeply with our intuition and our that knowing of being loved and loving, and that caring that you have to come home to family and all our wonderful, beautiful ancestors and all of us together. That's a great deep feeling. So the more simple your language is, the more richly you live within a community. See? So,
don't you? Speaking people, we can be quite lazy. Wherever I've been on holiday, I don't ever have to think about speaking a word in their language, because they all speak in English. And I remember, in a McDonald's, years ago, trying to think. There was 6 of us, because obviously I had 4 kids and I was married, and I was going, and I was trying to put some French words in there to say it. And then this person on the other side said, "Well, that's 4 big." Even though they were French, they still said it all in English. And I thought, oh, I tried so hard to speak a few words of French, and they speaking back in English. That's how everybody.
You just got to keep practicing and keep at it. Some people have it. Polygon. What are they? Multiple language speakers. Anyway, polyglot. They call them in French. and it's someone that is naturally able to speak, like passionate about it, and often speak over 10, maybe 15 languages, or at least, more than a few. And I'd love to have that happen. I only learnt French through parroting what I heard around me, and gradually the understanding of what the words meant came to me.
Spanish, when they get going, the Spanish, they talk so fast.
Oh yeah, I've been listening to some documentaries in Spanish, and a lot of French people say it's quite English, from the Latin roots of French. So there's similarities in the language, and I can only now start to see a bit of the similarities.
What, with French and Spanish, you mean?
Yeah, just after a while, it does take time with listening to Spanish. My partner's speaks Spanish, so I listen to conversations, and I haven't understood anything for years, but slowly it's starting to enter.
Yeah, I bet you the odd one out is the English, though, isn't it? It's so different to the others.
Yeah, well, English is a beautiful language to express oneself within. The confines are unlimited, and the richness is of grand order.
What, you don't find that in
I do enjoy a good cup of tea. I've started playing cricket, Karen.
Have you?
Yeah, I found a local cricket club, and we're playing against some English sides. It's a local team made up of some Indian and Pakistani students that are living in France. And it's a pretty old cricket club, and they arrange match games with various English teams that come over and do some display matches, and it's been quite fun.
What time did it get dark for you? I noticed the other day that Astral was showing us the sun going down, but it wasn't quite the same for me. We had a bit more, because obviously he's supposed to be a bit more north than me. So, yeah.
Interesting.
What time does it get dark for you? Because it does make a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's getting dark at about 8 minutes a day more here. I'm not sure about the latitudes. Is it three now? Is it? Yeah, it's 3 minutes earlier per day now. I think it's at around. It's around 8:30 now, isn't it?
Where you are in France, what time did it get dark in the summer? Because I know for me here, even if the sky is dark here, you could still see light, and it wouldn't go till about 11:30 at night. Like over there on the north, west, going west, but northwest, you could see the light still like there.
Yeah, you're a bit north. Yeah, see, where we are, it's about 10:30 at night in summer.
And unless I would, because sitting up, making videos, as everybody knows, I've been putting quite a few videos out lately over the weekend, and hangouts and talking to people. I quite often face the dawn, and in the summer the light starts coming, so it goes about say 11:30, and then it's coming again at 3:30 in the morning. And yet in winter we get barely 6 hours of light, maybe 5.5, 6 hours of light.
Oh, yes, that's the magical Goldilocks zone we live in. Yes.
What's it like in France? Is it the same for you? Do you get only 6 hours? Do you get 7 hours, 8 hours?
Yeah, it's a little less harsh here in winter. There's a little more light in the winter. But when you move north, towards the north of France, yeah, it's the same. It's the same hours, because it's the same distance from the northern point. Well, what we're told is the northern point, where
when you would like the light thing, because I know that a lot of countries, especially like America and that, the difference between summer and winter, the light is only a couple of hours. So say in the summer, they get dark at 9, 10, 9, and in the winter it's 7, 6, 7. But we get such a drastic change. But that doesn't mean all parts of America are like that. Some Americans report that they only get, like the light difference is quite big. But a lot of Americans are in this, the time difference isn't that big. Australia is the same, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's got a pretty varied range. In Australia, the sun from the east sets in the west 2 hours later. So there's 2 hours of sun
Really
difference. I believe, yeah, that sounds about right. I remember you can look at when they're doing live sports events on Western Australia. On the east coast, it's already night, and in the west coast, the sun's still setting.
Yeah, I think that's it. So the ones like New York side, they get a certain kind, but the ones on the other side, they get a different. Yeah, it's crazy that though, isn't it? And
amazing! Yeah, definitely. It's good to see great, honest, and good people doing measurements and putting information together, because it's not by looking in the sort of stuff that we have to learn in schools and universities that we're going to find more truth. So big ups everyone.
They never talked about the Earth rotating and the difference it would be like for you spinning in Australia to you spinning in France to us spinning in the UK to whatever. They never talked about any of that, did they? Do you ever remember learning any of that at school?
Not at all. It's was more about we had to learn intensely about the world wars and Australia's role in Gallipoli and Memorial Day every year, and also they tried to put under the table the fact that there was complete genocide and slaughter of traditional peoples of Australia happening, and still is to this day, without any treaty even being signed or done, which negates any law passed in Australia. In fact,
anyway, we sort of appreciate the more native people now, because they know we're living on a flat plane from the beginning and we've treated them really badly, but then everybody's been treated badly and everybody's been turned against each other roughly. So they've done it to everybody, not just one person or culture. They've done it to everybody. We've got us looking at lies on the tell-lie vision.
Yeah, there's some interesting research to do behind the invention of that very instrument as well.
Yeah, I was saying the other day that maybe like a lot of us people are watching the television screen, but some of us can see behind the screen now. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Which ends up being a bit like Enoch and the veil, doesn't it? Maybe the veil isn't what we think it is when they're talking about the veil.
Yeah, it's a great metaphor. Keeps the old 11th sphere in place, doesn't it?
Yeah, that damn thing. When you think about how much they want to keep us to this spinning ball and how much they're really taking away because we don't communicate properly anymore, we're watching television, everything's a lie. So they've really got us quite controlled, haven't they?
It's an electromagnetic mess of chaotic frequencies designed to overpower the actual true Schumann resonance, or Schumann discovered the Earth's resonance. There's another resonance to the machine that is this plane, this construct, which is quite mind-blowing aspects. Our own DNA codes are switched on to a certain degree, but I don't know, I'm not sure if we'd be all willing to make the changes if we wanted to see a glimpse of the whole thing. We'd all be responsible then. It would be no one else's fault. We'd all have to sort of align with, I don't know, that sort of unity, that harmony. It's a strange thing to look at the world and and think a lot of people that, like me, I'm quite sensitive. So to see creatures suffering or deceit being played upon people, it's, it's not hard. It's hard to walk away. Like with,
I have said this the other day, though, by the way, that
if you see an animal injured on the road, do you stop and
us as well? We're the animals as well.
Yeah, we're all
the same to us. I know they're doing it to the animals, but they're doing it to us as well. They're herding us like animals.
a little bit. Well, I hope they don't get to eat us as well.
There's a question for you in the chat room, Gathaka. Super League says, you ask him if he likes cricket. Does he wish he was from Yorkshire? Like Super League's asked that question.
The response is, thanks for the question. I don't like cricket. I love it.
Do you?
Yeah, you don't like cricket, you love it. Yes. It's an old saying. Have you ever heard of the 12th Man? It's the Australian commentator who does the impersonation of the sports team, Australian cricket sports team. There's a great rivalry between England and Australia in the Ashes series every year, the cricket series, and also Pakistan and India and West Indies. And there's a whole great legacy of fine batsmen and players like the great Alan Border. Yeah, that's my impersonation of Richie Benaud.
Hey, Martin Leakey's just come into the chat room. Hello, Martin. Just saying hello to him. If you tapping on my keyboard there. Oh, I forgot to go. Oi, oi, oi. That's my oi, oi, oi. So you like all the sort of electromagnetical side of everything, do you?
Electromagnetical side. I like. I love it. Well, electromagnetics are cool. It's got to help the sun go around, doesn't it? So yeah, thanks to that. And
yeah, and they don't really teach you any of that at school, do they? But I suppose they can't, can they? Because otherwise, maybe we would have been waking up when we were earlier then.
It's interesting, and it's there as an option when you're getting into chemistry and physics and looking at interactions of elements and electromagnetical planes and how there's the two fields that interact. You're creating torus like energy field, and you throw plutonic solids into the mix. You learn you got the table of the different gases, solids, and liquids, and there seems to be subphases of liquids. So you go quickly into sort of different sciences. There's sort of been taken over, and all of the alchemical codes, they're seen fractured. So like even great minds get caught in deep sciences that even them themselves don't understand, and then we sort of get caught up in this web of truths and semi-truths. It's sort of the information gate's been blocked going one way too long, and now it's a natural cycle that information starts to flow two ways. So we can all discover the benefits of bloody natural technology. And with 3D printers and stuff, we're now using Fibonacci ratios, for example. It's nature's code and stuff. We're making things lighter, stronger than before. And well, than before. It depends what before is. But with the I don't know. There's something that that nature can do that we can only try and replicate. Like you can't, as far as I know, you can't make a seed. Like you could.
Hey, Gathaka, can I just say one thing? Obviously, Martin Leakey's in the chat room. I think it's his birthday.
Is it? That's great.
It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Martin!
We'll have to.
Hey.
Happy birthday, Martin!
Hey.
Crazy gangster. So that's some great work. Been catching up on some of Martin's stuff, the etchings, the old sketchings. I made a ocarina from a bit of mud flood. I rolled out to 1/4 of an inch thickness and then put some holes in it, and voila, we have ocarina for playing happy birthday to Martin.
Yeah, I was just asking. I don't know whether he will because it's just putting him on the spot. But it's just asking Martin if he wanted to come on for 5 minutes as it's his birthday.
I think that sounds like a wonderful idea.
Yeah, but again, we're asking him on a live hangout. Martin, do you want to come on the hangout? He's writing away in the chat room. Mind you, sometimes the chat room takes a few minutes to catch up with what we're saying. Martin, do you want to come on for 5 minutes as it's your birthday? That's putting him on the spot, isn't it?
Well, isn't it funny? Earlier we mentioned that there may be a special guest to come on, and Martin came into the chat, and it's his birthday. It just sounds like a special occasion. If you'd like to come and have a chat, that'd be great.
Yeah. Martin, I'll send him the link and see if he comes on for 5 minutes. We're not expecting you to do a great big presentation, Martin. We're coming on as Martin and it's your birthday. I'll send him the link. I share birthdays with Sting. Worst luck. Oh, I'm going to send him the link and see if he comes on for 5 minutes.
Yeah, great. Why not? I didn't have any particular plan of a script tonight or of things to sort of talk about. Just thought we could have a good old yarn.
I've sent you the link, Martin, if you want to come on for 5 minutes as it's your birthday. Yeah, that's okay, Gathaka. I know that you're a man of many different things: music, nature, sensitivity, electromagnetics, and that kind of thing. Frequencies. Oh, he says he can't come on but you don't have to have your camera on, Martin. You can come on with your camera off. I don't think he's going to come on, by the way.
That's all good. He's having the birthday boy has whatever way he wants.
Yeah, it's up to you, Martin, but you're welcome to come on so we can then have a few minutes with you on your birthday. It's gone very quiet now in the chat.
I'd thought of writing a list down of my best questions for the Globe, but I didn't actually write anything down. I just thought might go through some stuff and
What you mean, all the things that are wrong?
yeah. What on your mind, Karen? What's some of the things that you're.
There he is! Who's there? Martin! Hello, my darling. Happy birthday to you.
Hi, Sam. Peace and love to you all.
Patricia's here. We lost Astral, and this is Gathaka. Gathaka's a member of Sun and Moon.
Oh, nice to meet you, brother.
Hey, mate. How you going? Nice to meet you, man. Yeah.
Don't fall off.
We're all good here, mate. Nice and steady.
Yeah, man. Don't you know it? Yeah, what
So,
a day.
what have you been doing to, just very quickly, I'll just answer Gathaka. The one that I keep saying is, well, if they expect the oceans, tons and tons of water to stick with gravity to the spinning ball, then how come you can't make it stick to the tennis ball you're holding in your hand?
Yeah, I know. It's just a ridiculous notion, all of it. For any critical thinking person, you don't have to think too deep with the flat earth. You really don't. You don't.
No,
It's
no.
just obvious.
Think.
Yeah.
And it just,
Yeah, with that's it. But with the globe, there's excuse after excuse after excuse
Yeah, man. Same old word
after
salad.
fractured science to expect you to believe something
Never
that,
to prove. Never to prove.
like,
What they do, you ask them to prove your globe and they pull their phone out. So no. Besides your phone and space agencies, what proof have you got? And they're boned every single time. So here's where that situation lies. Anyway, can't.
that's right. And to do with studying, like,
This,
for
though.
example, yeah.
What about the people? I just looking in another chat just now, and it was just floating around and just just catching up basically. And these people, these globe sort of thing, they seem to be associated with a flat earth for some weird reason. See, I don't acknowledge any of them. I just don't think it's worth it. I don't understand. I just see it as a dialectic. I think, no, you've just been in, some of them have been here 3 years. This is coming up to 4 years for me. And I've been, talking to some of these people 4 years. And they're still spinning out the same old garbage.
they're still spinning.
What? The penny haven't dropped yet. They must be like completely mentally ill or something if they haven't worked it out in 4 fucking years. Excuse my French. But what? No, man, something wrong with that. There is.
Hey, Martin, the other day, Ditra sent me this little video, and basically what it was is the same sort of thing. It was him talking to, or someone was talking to someone trying to explain things, and they just wouldn't have it. And then it was this conversation, and then basically it was Marty Leeds, I think. He was basically, it's not cognitive dissonance. These people are cowards.
Check this out today, Karen. Right, I've had like a good thing and a bad thing happened, but it's soaked up my entire day. I get an email and it's saying, you better see this, Matt. So I go over and it's like an international website called Stolen History, a very aptly named channel. And what's their site? Their post for this week is my hard work, or all of our hard work. I've been posting over the last 3 days on the ancient fasces, which I propose to be a sonic sound weapon. This entire really official site not only copies my video, right, in the order that I presented it, and using my very images, and completely cuts me out the equation. So me and a few other flat earth British peeps go into his comments and post my video, and other people as well, saying I'm a fan of this guy. Look, this works, guy. Don't you think you should at least mention him? But for the same token, I had a little freak out on his comments saying, hey, mate, I don't like a thief. I don't. Okay, can you think up your own concept? Can you at least link me and say this is where you got this information from? So he said, no, it's just, it's the hive mind. I said, no, because there's one image on there you can't get on Google. Okay, it was an image that I found when I was studying 1916 Zeppelins. Yeah, you found that there. Of course you did. So it's 100% plagiarized my work. But not only that, the penny dropped that the whole bigger game for the internet is actually watching, and not only watching, they're stealing my share. But that's okay, because I'm at least I realize, even if I'm cut out of the equation, that my word is getting out there. Do you get me? So it's working for the same token and for the same old. I can't tell you how many concepts have been taken that I've had to sit back, Karen, and watch go viral. This has happened a few times over the years. So because I'm like I am, we just let it fly. But this one has the, it's life changing once you know this information. The last 3 vlogs has been life changing for everyone who's watched them and been involved. And this guy is not only light years behind us all year, he hasn't got a clue what he's saying. So he's just picking up on the fringes of what I've been saying, and he's chucked bits in which don't fit with the narrative at all. So he's sort of, in a way, slightly dirty in it, in an official standpoint. So, it's them. First thing I thought when I saw the site is it's so official, and they got so many people, and it's so big. It just, to me, it's like, oh, right, it's them. But then I'm watching the video. I'm watching my video. Yeah, it's called Stolen History in very aptly named site. Yeah, very. So that's what I've been up to all day.
Caring is sharing.
My peeps over there.
Caring is sharing, but you're the only one I can see that's doing history like you, Martin.
I tell you what, it's very wearing. If anyone knew the effort, it's not me, Karen. It's not me. It's all of us together. Yeah, we're not me up all night. It's other people all night, and then we got to work it out. Because before we like put it out on the internet, we want to make sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, we can prove this shit. Okay, this is why it's hitting them. This is why they're taking interest, because they know this cannot be pulled apart. They know this is the story. So for that token, it's all the hard work of all of them put together. It's a beautiful thing. That's where it works. Communication together. You know, people thinking, think tanks together, sharing ideas. That's how we go forward. Yeah, this is how this has happened. But I'll be buggered if I'm going to have that robbed away by some fucking guy who has no idea of the subject and just it's like claiming it. It's like, oh, he's got this is mine, and everyone's floating along with it. It's horrible to watch, but whatever. It's the name of the game. But I had a sneaking suspicion. I even said it that morning before I started this expose. I thought, because of the nature, and I realized this is gold. This is going to be stolen everywhere. Okay, and it took literally days, 3-4 days before it was stolen by a big website. That's how it works. YouTube. You gotta be careful when you have concepts, man. People can't seem to have an original thought for some reason. Really weird. I'll sell some of mine if they like. My ass.
Without the decency to give a good source link or at least a credit to where the video came from, I don't know.
If it just left the link, that would have been it.
Yeah.
I would have been it. I would have been fine. It's just I'm not even funny. Like he said, like well, why cause division? So I'm not causing division, man. I just don't like the thief. I don't. That's something in me. I've had it since I was a child. I do not like a thief. Okay, you're nicking my shit. You're not linking me up, mate. You're not even giving me a shot. It's like I don't exist. Cut me out. I know 100%. You just nicked all my photographs. That's my video I'm watching. Okay, and all he says is no. It's a coincidence. We've been studying this all along. And I know he never found those images on Google, so I know where they came from, and they were hard to find. These things do not happen by accident. This is like deep searching. This is like link after link and suspicions and following leads. He didn't do all that. He did nothing. It's a tick of mine.
That wasn't a nice birthday present, then, was it, Martin?
Well, no, it was in a way, Karen, because it asserted that if what I've been putting out was bullshit, Karen, it would not be put all over for the consumption of millions upon millions of people. Okay, so these people who are them are watching mine, they're plagiarizing, they're putting it on their site as theirs because it's good, it's really good, and they're going to run with it, and they claim it, and they'll tint it, and they'll change it for their agenda, like they always do. This is how they work. But mine's timestamped anyway. I did it when I done a video, timestamp for history. I knew this was going to happen. I knew it. But whatever. I'm not gonna like stop. I've sent all my peeps over to his channel. I have posted every single video on the subject and said you better watch these because you've only got half the story.
I know a lot of history. It's not that I didn't look at history differently anyway. A lot of
2 days before that, I had a nasty email. Somebody just like wrote just a nutter, but I got told it was a scam because one of my other subs, or my mate Lee, Flat Earth British sub, said, "Oh, I had the same weeks ago, like a blackmailer saying, I've had your computer from dog shitastan, right? And I'm gonna like clean your computer out." I thought, well, fucking good. You're only gonna have all my Flat Earth maps and books. Help yourself, mate. So like just blanked it, but like it's just like since I put this information out, I'm getting like all these really dodgy things coming, even a dodgy phone call since I put out this information.
But they don't want you finding the truth, do they, Martin?
Well, it's you know when you're getting close, and you know when you're on the money. Like I've been compromised in a way that literally they've invented loopholes just for me specifically to leave me in a really weird place in my life. You know, the powers that should not be. I mean, it's sort of sorting itself out. But like after all what's happened this year, they have not given up. They have fought. they've thought in their little think tanks that if they catch me down, maybe because I'm bereft, that maybe they can undermine me and maybe I'll pack this in. Well, they don't know me. They don't know me. They don't know what I think of the ethic, as a driving force and what we got in mind for this place. They underestimate us all. They really do. So, no, I'll never give up, man. No, never. Not to my last breath. I will always do this. Okay. Bring all the truth.
Something now, haven't you? Sorry, Jeff.
Truths are elusive. That's what they are.
There's some great presentations you've done there with some really interesting breakdowns of some.
Yeah, it's not on my own.
It's put a lot of. I've been looking at that stuff and having to rethink a lot of stuff myself. So that's thanks.
Look, what I've done, I've kept my options open. Okay, I haven't been changed, and I'm willing to change my view as well. I'm not going to say, oh, like it's this way or that. I'm willing to change. And that's what's happened. I've changed my mind on a lot of really good theories, mate, that I've completely turned around on under new evidence. You got to. You can't. This is what science isn't doing.
Yep, exactly right. There's an old saying: only a fool that doesn't change their mind. Yeah.
Yeah, no clue a word.
We've all had that, haven't we? We get the first thing, and then a year later, you're thinking something completely different. Or sometimes the things that you've researched, then you change your mind, and then you come back to them.
No, with us, with the flat earthers, there's definitely something going on with the way we're thinking. Because I can say something, and 10 minutes later, it'll be said back to me by a sub or a friend, and I'm like, and it's happening. It's been happening for years. But it seems the people outside of, like there's a magic spell going on and everyone else is hypnotized. But with us, for some unusual reason, we've all managed to wake up. The hypnosis is lifted. We are perplexed why they haven't got it.
We're synchronizing, you mean?
Yeah, we're synchronizing. You got it. And it's ever accelerating. It is. And this hive mind is giving us secrets or a glimpse behind the curtain. We never, I'm thinking things now that I never even thought that you could think. You with me? It's like subjects now that I didn't even know existed a year or two ago. It's just how much they have hid from us. The information they give us is just for children. It's fairy tales, fairy stories. None of it is real. None of it is real. I do know what? I'm at the point now where I doubt all ancient maps. I really do. If I believe we're in isolated ages, which means smaller pockets of time, which means that all of the maps would be of an individual pocket at a time. Is it possible they could be handed over? Well, maybe some, but not all. So anything coming from them, the establishment, as in their libraries, and there's so many, which we go through for our maps. How easy is it for an 1880s, faker? Because it was the age of fakery, by the way, to just make up a medieval map that looks really good. Because they're either two ways, see, like a 3-year-old, no insult into a 3-year-old has made one. Oh, they're beautiful works of art. How can it be two ways? So I'm doubting all maps now.
I used to love making pirate maps when I was 3 years old.
Mate, I got on my found when I moved house here. I found all my school stuff. I kept it, and I got one. I made a map when I was about 5, 6. So embarrassing. It was good. It was good in the harbour, the docks.
Yeah, I used to love burning it on the sides and staining it with tea to give it an authentic look. Bit of a scroll and a wax seal. Oh yeah.
Mate, tea bag. Get a tea bag. And it makes it look really old. An old tea bag, dab it around and it gives it that old brown look. I know all the tricks. Yeah, it's been an exciting week.
So what have you been doing for your birthday, Martin?
Well, I've had a weird day. A weird day.
It's a bit of a different day today, isn't it? To like last year for you, probably. I understand.
I had family last year, so I won't be. My wife and my mother have both died. So my son has just like this morning gone ape shit crazy on me because I mentioned it was my birthday. He's had shit full of flat earth. And there's nothing I can do about it. I said, you don't understand. It's not just like a hobby for me, Lawrence. I'm integral to this whole thing. I'm like, I need it. I've got you know, I'm responsible for this. You know, the people, my subs, and
You
he doesn't
started now,
understand.
haven't you, Martin? You can't stop.
Listen, I ain't gonna never. How can I? How can I? When you put so much work in and so much sacrifice, for your peeps, you know, you can't. Like I try to explain, I'm not just like he just says I'm a cult member and stuff, and I'm like, no, all right, you're a cult leader then. So whatever you think, but the globe is the cult, and he's not willing to sit and let you know. He hears flat Earth stuff all day, and yet he ignores it. He ignores the realities, and then he plays space stuff to wind me up. Torture. But at the
You
same
know what?
time,
I find really strange, Martin. Like he's trusted you to be you're his father. He's trusted you all this time, and you mentioned that, and then they don't trust you. I mean, if you've gone on about it for this long, that he couldn't just open his eyes up just a little bit. I mean, I have to think of them myself. I don't know about Gathaka whether
no, it's just against me on purpose. That's all it is.
Well, earlier we were talking about that, just about how it's another beautiful way that we can be divided in ourselves and fractured in our speech to each other, just because of those simple polarities of the cosmology. I mean, the true
dinosaurs last night was robbing over dinosaurs. It's just
the true cosmology is hidden, and history of anthropology and every natural science has been corrupted, and we're led into a theory that has no actual objective shit. Just points to all these specialists that are all these everyone there's got these fingers in this honey pot of fucking
greed.
taking advantage of everyone else.
No.
A whole other system of law that we're not even aware of, that lives another real dream world of our actual real world, whilst we stand around arguing with each other and destroy the environment, and it's our fault at the same time.
Yeah,
we have some waking up to do, seriously, you know.
there is hope. I see hope. I see hope for the youth.
That's it. It takes a true captain to get through the storm, and that's it. We're building our vessels with knowledge and power and their willingness to stand up and speak for injustice and untruths. No matter, and if that when your map, if you know you're onto something, if your map's real, then you can't hide. You can't hide three things: the sun, the moon, and the truth.
Yeah.
You can't hide them for long. That's an old saying from Buddha.
So it is.
No, you find that the truth is always there, but you've got to really find it.
It's the hero's journey.
Well, I mean, could have been mentioned on the television. It could be somewhere that there's a bit there and a bit there and a bit.
No, man, reach out the ether and it'll come to you, man. The universe will give you what you need. If you realize it, say, like in our case, like, we're warriors for truth, and the universe, because you're doing it for good, it will work in your favor. As long as you're true, everything just goes. And myself personally, I always got brick walls because that's at the level I do it. Okay, the dark forces are really trying to block me. I feel it, I know it, but I just keep all the time just busting through. I must really freaking wind them up. But we can't give up, brothers and sisters. Like, we've been here before, I feel that we've done this before. I always say that, but I don't think we'll lose this time. This whole place is a septic tank. How long are we going to let it carry on? What about our children? What about our grandchildren? They're like Borg, go to school. Completely assimilated to the government collective. You can't let it go on, man.
Yeah. Well, hopefully more of us are waking up every single day.
You haven't got a clue. They show my videos in high school, man, in Cardiff, where I live. Brilliant.
Hello. Congratulations.
My cousin came to my house. There's been a party. My mother's awake, like at my house school. We had a big party, and she said, "Martin, my teacher's a big fan of yours." Well, what? She said, "Yeah, man." She said, "You're really intelligent." She said she told all her other teachers about you, and we watched your videos in school. I went, "What?" said, what about like my swearing and that? They said, no, they absolutely love you from your because you're from Cardiff and they're really proud of you, right? So they played. I've been trying to tone it down since I found this. They played the Flat Earth British in high schools, man. In Cardiff. Yeah, man.
Excellent. That's great. Yeah, you'll have to keep a hold of your crossing your T's and your
I do.
dotting your I's.
It's funny, right? If I have like guests on, like I had UAP on a Saturday night, and I noticed that it must be just like I'm mindful of it because I didn't swear once. I said flipping. So like when I'm myself in my vlogs, being myself, I just swear because that's how I am in the street. How I am on my vlogs. Except I'm not as eloquent on the street. I get my head kicked in, but I'm the same person out there as I am here now, basically.
Martin, you can always use the words "what the flat."
Good. Good. I want to go around doing that. I got a fan club around here, man. All the local hoodies, man. They all go "Flat British," and they'll comes over and has their photograph taken with me for whatever his Instagram. No, there's a new one, Snapchat. So I'm on Snapchat.
My daughter's on that. I'm not into all that.
I hit 7,000 today as well, Karen. In fact,
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. It's my 7K day. I'm very proud. I'm very happy indeed. It only took nearly 4 years to get solid work and almost 1,000 videos.
Martin, I'm really well. I love everybody. I love Gathaka, Patricia, Astral, the chat room.
I've seen Gathaka.
There's some people who've worked so hard. Dave Marsh is another one. I've followed him for a long time. And here, there's Flat Earth Dude.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Epic no dudes.
Well, there's no bendy water. There's no bendy water.
No bendy water. Damn. I'm still looking.
Yeah.
Just to say, we've got Martin Liedtke on today. It's Martin's birthday.
Yeah, man.
Take
happy birthday. I'll give you bendy water. That's about it. If you want to feel the wheel spin, get really drunk. That's the only way it'll spin.
And also with this is Gathaka. You've not met Flat Earth Dude Gathaka, but if you've watched in, you'll know who Flat Earth Dude is.
What's up, Jay?
Hey, dude.
How you doing, man? I'm doing good. How are you?
In the barrel, man.
In
Glassy.
the curvy water. The curvy water.
Oh, still looking.
No, man. No, with the P1000, man. Oof. Oh, man. Got me so dead.
Sorry, I'm late. I work at busy.
Camera, really.
Busy.
It shows more.
It's in the papers every single day over here. I guess links like twice a day. My Google alerts come up. I click them, and it's like in the UK, here, there, everywhere. Flat earthers. People think the earth is flat. It's like, big spreads on it. Pictures. Our proofs in pictures in the newspapers. So, I
think they've lumbered us in with like the hippies, haven't they? They put crystals in with hippies, and then I don't want to get into all that. The hippies like that.
Right. Yeah.
So important. So they probably lumbered us. They make us look like we're a bunch of hippies now or something.
But the hippie movement was so the whole thing, can crash into an end, as you know, with Charles Manson affair. But the whole thing was co-opted. Even years later, Timothy Leary come forward and said, "Oh yeah. I didn't blow my cover. I worked for him.
CIA.
Tavistock, CIA all the time." If you listen to the Eagle track, dude, I'm looking for a lover who won't blow my cover. She's so hard to find because he needs a woman, but he can't tell her nothing because he's, the Eagles and all the people like we're on Woodstock are working for Tavistock, aka CIA, to promote this narrative. So he can't tell her who he is because he's undercover. So they tell you all the Eagles, they blow their cover right the way through their music. Hotel California, all of it.
Well, you can't make it to the top of pop music without having controllers.
Got any world influence, you will be controlled. Any voice for millions and world influence, something that will influence world affairs, will have to be there. Very few. Look, Pink Floyd are on the fringe. They're flat earthers, sure. But how many number ones have they had? The Wall, and that is it. Okay, they're never mainstream, but they're one of the biggest bands in the world, the best bands in the world, if you like. But they're not pushed by the mainstream, are they ever? They're not really. Yeah. So, and that's why, because they sort of can't tell you but they sneak it out in their lyrics. They always have. They always will. Tear down the wall. What wall's that then?
Well, we know which wall that is.
It's right the way through from the very beginning with these people. Even when Sid Barrett was still alive, dude, they were telling you then, set the controls for the Heart of the Sun, Interstellar Overdrive, all these songs. Or Flat Earth Undertones, definitely. Listen back. And more.
Patricia's just saying happy birthday to you. She's there. Patricia, come on the microphone and say
Thanks,
it.
Patricia. Thanks, sweetness. Hope so. Good. I got things to do. My son bought me a little mini Maverick drum. Of the kind of that. I've taken out. It's got an epic little HD camera on it. So
Can I just say this quickly?
Yeah. You all get.
Sorry,
Patricia.
my son's watching telly. I've had to mute it. Happy birthday, Martin.
Oh, thanks, Patricia, sweetness. That's nice. I know.
You're welcome, and I love you all. I'm gonna leave it now. So I'm listening. So don't worry.
All right. I'll see you later, Patricia.
Good night, Patricia.
She's there, but she's just muted. That's what she's saying because her son's watching telly. So very nice camera. What else did you get, Martin? What else did you get?
A lot of love from Flat Earthers.
That's nice.
I've had a day off being brutalized by the state, so that was nice.
Oh dear.
Yeah, normal world me, you know. So no, man, that'd be fine. I'm a great day probably. Could go fly my drone if it's not blowing a gale, take some footage, although it's got a fisheye lens, so I won't be doing no curved shots, obviously, or lack of, I mean. And I'll just do research. I got something to bring out this week. It goes deeper. It really wears you out. It does. So, because you know,
some of your latest stuff's been really eye-opening, Martin. As I said before. Yeah, some of this. I've been looking at old books here in France. There's some really interesting maritime stuff.
Oh wow!
And
I got somebody photographing them and sending me pictures of sea charts pictures. Yeah, you got any like sea chart maps in there?
Well, yeah, I'll let you know when I chase some up. That's exactly what I'm looking for as well.
Bodies of water, because I've got like maybe 50 atlases and thousands of maps, and I can't find 2 bodies of water the same size, no matter what they tell you. So it'd be good to look on all.
Yeah, I've been looking at even globes. I've been seeing around and taking photos of continents, and they seem to just be printed on a whim and a prayer, depending on where you are and what you're. Well, there's so many different types of the globe. I mean, and that's the quarter's truth, and it's quite odd, isn't it?
No, it's a recent thing, mate. It turned up recently. This is a recent thing. It's not as old as they say. The Renaissance is not what they say. This is later. This is later. This is Jesuitical. It's late 16th century, 17th century brainwashing is when most of it was by control, torture even. To believe in the globe, taking you away from your normal everyday experience. Nobody would have believed in the beginning. No way would I not.
Hey, I found a building here in my hometown.
Yeah, man.
Called the Santa Ana Courthouse.
Things about.
It looks like a mud flutter, and I cannot find one single picture of it being built. And it was built in 1900.
You won't.
I searched for days, couldn't find it.
No, she's older, a lot older, and your city is one of the best. Have you ever seen photographs of Venice Beach, 1930s?
I haven't looked lately, but yeah, I've seen some, sure.
Blow your mind. Maybe 50,000 oil wells. All along the beach. Yeah, I've seen those pictures. But the town itself looked like Venice. It was beautiful. It had
it's got the canals and.
Why would they take all that away? I'll tell you why. Because it was there originally.
Right.
Photographs, yeah. Them early photographs is how that place was originally. America, I'm believing, is a lot older. Some people seem to believe that all the biblical depictions that we see in my atlases of some of these colonial buildings, these events, actually were taken in the continent of America, and not actually in Europe or the Holy Land, as or Egypt has proposed. You know, it's a really, really provocative thought. I've been thinking about it myself. There's no evidence to say that didn't happen. Now, there's a load of colonial buildings in America that prove they're a lot older. You know, you watch the old films, yeah, of like, say, the American independence, okay? You know, Washington and all of them, or whatever, the founding fathers are doing signings in what already is a big colonial building already built. Now, when exactly, if they've only just arrived 100 years previous, was all of this infrastructure built?
Right.
And on dirty streets, how they get the stone there in the first place? Look, this place is a lot older, a lot older. It's that civilization that went before. As far as I can make out, 2 resets in the last 500 years. There was the one in the 1650s, 1666, 666, the year of the Great Fire of London. That is for sure. That I can nail. There was massive events there. Then there's like later survivor times, and then the events of 1811 through to 1850. They didn't clean the place up to the mid 1850s. The streets are dead. There's no one in them in all folk.
Right.
No people. So a whole population has arrived to fill these cities, to hold millions of people around the 1860s, Mac. No, that's the question. The old photographs of America, brother, when they're pouring into Ellis Island, yeah, 1900. All rich people from Europe, yeah. You never really hear much about them again, but they got all this wealth. Where exactly are they arriving from? It's really weird,
Good
mate.
question.
Mate, to fill the whole of America in such a short space of time, from what was colonialism to like the biggest, massivest country going. Think about it. Think about the expansion. Think about the population. How could it be? How could it be? Do the math in your head. It's just, it's almost as if we've just been brought, yeah. Weird.
This all your research started with flat Earth, right?
No, man. If you want, it's 500 flat Earth videos on my channel. Over 600 maybe. But I got like bored of busting massive balls, so I thought, no, I'll move into something I really want to know. Yeah.
I remember watching you, Martin. You did this video when you went to look at that round map.
Yeah, man. The map of Monday, Karen. The oldest map in the world. Flat Earth map.
That feels like 100 years ago right now, yeah?
Yeah, man. That was the first flat Earth, official flat Earth meet in history, me and Nathan Oakley, his wife, before Ellen was even born, right? And another guy, Stephen, I never met him again. Yeah, first time in the year of the independent flat Earthers since Parallax, we thought. But there was no one else till that time had met as a flat Earther. It was really early on, you know, really early on. March 2015. No, later than that, because the Mark Sargent's clues hadn't been up then. Well, not far after, anyway. March 2017, I think.
Yeah, you've come a long way since that, haven't you? Like, you've changed, like, so much has changed since then for
I've
you.
lived in 3 places. Yeah, I've lived in 3 places since the flat Earth. As I said, yeah, a lot's changed. I've changed a lot, a complete lot. Has grown up.
Martin, I've a question for you, mate.
By the way, brother.
Flat Earth, did you have some years research on your belt? So you would have maybe, if you did, notice the trends of misinformation.
I was well prepared, yeah.
So when that came out, did you have more of you saw a different sort of reaction to that?
Yeah, I knew what I was watching and the videos I was watching and the official standpoints of ancient aliens and all the other things that people were watching coast to coast. I thought, like, oh man,
putting jigsaw pieces together. And
no, I knew. I'd worked it all. I knew evolution was bullshit. I sort of worked out dinosaurs was rubbish. Things like that. I cleared, a decade before flat Earth, but. Yeah, the maps have always been on my mind. The maps was always a biggie with me. The history, the chronology, and how all of this can just sort of arrive in such a small space of time. Yeah, that was a big one in my mind. So, yeah, that's what we're concentrating on. I got answers now. Where I want them on now.
Yes.
You've been. Gathaka, have you been watching any of Martin's videos? Like the one that really got me, the one I was watching that basically in 1712 they were drawing like CT scans. Like what?
Yeah, man. I got more of that. More
amazing, and the devices and the old the way was built on using sacred geometry and to create frequency devices, and who knows what sort of
Feel pain just by vibration. I've seen it.
Like a massive radionics machine. Yes,
Yeah, I had a doctor contact me over that video, Karen, saying you're completely right. I'm not a flat earther, but I agree with you that the nervous system isn't visible, and neither are the magnetic synapses in the brain. They're obviously not visible in the 1700s. How could they have known? So he was blown away. This was a doctor, a medical doctor. Sent me a private email.
Wow.
It wasn't a flat earther, but he'd watched, and he was blown away as well. You can't imagine how they did it. We'd surmise, did they fill them with wax? Did they freeze them? But you can't. It's like, how could you get in there without 3D scanning or CT scanning? It's just impossible. It's impossible. Yeah, it can. Blew my mind. What we don't know. Right?
Yep, that's right. Yeah, it's like, imagine, advanced at analog technology. Now it's these days digital, which is limited in its range, its scope upon the combining it within the elements and the ether in different formats and electricity, different forms of energy. How the one piece. Yeah, so ancient analog energy, that's some powerful stuff. That's
you could hear it when I was a kid, walking down the street on a cold winter's night. You could, apart from the buzzing of the lampposts, you could hear the analog tellies in people's houses, the valves going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, they were that powerful. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, man. Serious.
That's crazy.
But that's all by design anyway. I found out, I've been researching the iron railings technical mystery. Like, it seems that all railings in Britain were removed during the Second World War. They say for the war effort to make tanks and bombs and planes and what have you. But it turns out none of them turned up at the steelworks. Well, I've just found recent evidence which says that the television came along, or was invented by Logie Beard during World War II. They had television then, but it wasn't going to be released until 1949, till after the war was cleaned up, right? So they removed all of the railings because they found that railings, and some of them with these strange sigil patterns in them, block signals from the TVs. So they had to get rid of them for the big brainwash that was to come. The television, then it all worked out. So I think that's part of it too. I think that's why they got rid of it, and I think it was it also transported charge and electrical charge. Some of them do. Some of them got sigil patterns. Why would you have ancient sigils basically a sign for an ancient demon or an ancient angel carved into the railings all over London and British cities? Even my Central Market got them on there, man. I could even identify them, but I can't look at them, dude. There's something wrong with them, man. You can't look at them. People who look into them, they just go funny. There's just something weird about them, brother. We don't even know what they are, except their electrical circuitry, their electrical keys.
Television is quite amazing in a way, isn't it? That through signals and frequencies, you get a screen with a picture on it. I mean, I know that there's the way they'll explain how it happens, but it is quite incredible from ether to a television.
It's mind-blowing. I was fascinated as a kid. I couldn't even get over it. How incredible the telly was. I still am. I've always loved communication. I had CB in my bedroom when I was a kid. And, I pulled outside my window. Breaker 1, breaker 19, breaker 19. Come in. I used to in Alaska. Imagine a 13-year-old boy, 11. No, I was younger, 11 or 12. Talking to a lorry driver in Alaska.
Talking somebody 3,000 miles away?
Mate,
3,500 miles away?
I could pick up anywhere on the plane. I had Chinese talking, Filipinos at sea, stuff like that. Airplanes as well, if you had a specific frequency. But I had a little transistor that could do that, like that. A transistor that could listen to an airplane going over, and the pilots talking to one another, talking to their slave woman that brings drinks, whatever they're called.
The stewardess.
That's them. See, that's a Yeah, they only have good-looking stewardesses, right? So like wiggle her up and down.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
House activities. Stop you looking out the window.
Flight attendant.
Yeah, stop you looking out the window.
Better gotta get the right language.
Flight attendant.
I do still have a CB radio packed away somewhere.
Did
Yeah.
you, brother? Oh, I only had an 80, a Midlands 80. I loved it though. I really loved the CB. I wanted a ham. I always wanted a ham.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Too much money. Wow.
And you had to have a license, you know.
It's a bit like it, isn't it? We're talking across the pond and not across the world. It's a bit like it. So I've always been into this international communication thing.
Right.
It's amazing.
I met a lot of friends with my CB radio.
Same
just
here,
around the neighborhood. Like, hey, I'll meet you up by the. Where do you live? By the park.
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. I used to meet women like that. Yeah.
Nice.
Back in the day, it's freaking brilliant.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to bring money for a phone call or pay a bill if you had your CB radio there. Hence,
right.
You notice how they got changed, and then they started to bring the technology out, and now here phone booths don't even exist anymore. We used to go and put your coin in to make a call.
Or they're just toilets for people to pee in. They don't work.
No, well, to avoid that in France, at least they have old books. They put them in there.
They converted them to the
library, free library for people. They can
bathroom to the loo. Oh my!
No,
license.
No, it's not a toilet.
Toilet
licenses.
A phone booth.
Rules make for bending and breaking. That's what I ought to say.
That's right.
I don't recognize them anyway. They're evil.
My wife's like, you never follow the rules. I'm like, no. Okay.
Never have. Never have. Well, I'm not awkward. Just
it's just like, get a license? I don't think so.
No.
Let's just go.
Listen, I'm such a nice, conscientious person. This is why I chose not to drive, although I missed it because I spent 10 years at sea when everyone else was driving, so there's no point. But I always thought, like, well, actually, I'm always like, wrecked. So there's no point in me getting on the road. And I always had this fear of a kid running across between two cars on the way to school. So I was like, oh, what if that happened? Or what if I hit a kid? Oh, no, I'm never going to drive. So I didn't because of that. I invented something in my head to stop me driving. Isn't that
right?
Weird? I got a forklift truck license and others. I got like, a cherry picker, license, genie license, and things like that. But not a car. Although I drove for years.
Hey Martin, just to say, I met GoPro Flat Earth UK Garb.
Yeah,
you know, don't you?
Yeah,
hello,
Keith. He's in chat now. I just seen him. Yeah, I met him. Yeah, he was at Come to Cardiff. Yeah, no, he went to Aylesbury, didn't he?
Yeah, he met me at Silbury Hill.
Silbury, look, wicked day out. It was a nice day that day as well, wasn't it? It was a sunny day, lovely day.
It was a little bit windy, but a really great day. And I met Costa as well, who comes on our channel. It was good.
There's a meet on the 13th in Bristol. Robin's lifting the lid, is it?
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going there. That's like 2 weeks. I wouldn't mind going there. I haven't apart from the convention, I haven't met any flat earthers. A couple have come and met me. I've seen Lucy, I've seen Marie, but I haven't seen anyone else. So miss flat earthers. It's like
I miss my flat.
Been a bit left out in Wales, do you?
Well, no, I got loads
into flat earth or not?
No, man, there's loads in Wales now. They're all over my comments every day. They're proud as punch. Like, oh, I can't believe you're Welsh. Yeah, very Welsh, thanks. And other people understand. What language are you speaking? I cannot understand you. Yeah, and I got to explain. Well, like I ain't English, but I do speak English. It's complicated. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Welsh is one of the oldest languages, isn't it?
On Earth. Always consistent languages on Earth. Yeah, I know. But someone I knew, an old skipper at sea, said that when he was in school in the 1940s, it was in a Welsh school on the borders. He used to get smacked by the teacher if he got caught speaking his own native language. So a lot of the Welsh got smacked out of them by the English school teachers. This language has been suppressed royally. That's why it only exists out in the west, Pembrokeshire, Dyfed, and up in the north, up in Anglesey, and that it still exists, or out in Swansea way it still exists. But I'm from Cardiff, I don't know anyone who speaks Welsh. I've hardly met anyone that spoke Welsh. I don't even know what sheep is. Heady cow, I think.
My mum's a Jones.
Is she?
Yeah, with the Davids and
she's probably related
Jones, huh?
My mum's Welsh. She comes from, her family came from Merthyr Tydfil.
Yeah. Don't worry, that's my rabbit. He's been eating my house.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm half Welsh for my sins there, Martin.
Listen, half of America's Welsh and they don't even know it. There are Davises or Williamses or Joneses or, all them Welsh names, but they don't know. A lot of them, or Irish, just add a no on it. Or Williams. Let me grab my rabbit. Come here, Fleur. Come here. Psycho.
You couldn't get more Welsh than a Jones, though, could you?
Psycho.
Or Liedtke. Liedtke's quite Welsh. Oh, God.
Sorry, Flat Earth Dude? So I thought Flat Earth Dude was saying something, and I sort of...
Oh, no, I know some Joneses.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's
Tom Jones.
A lot of Joneses out there.
You haven't heard of him? You know Tom Jones, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a Jones.
Yeah, he's from local, from 5 mile away. But when he grew up, apparently he burgled every house in the street. He was right. And he got a job singing Donna Bay. And then he was discovered, and then he ended up in Las Vegas. And literally Elvis Presley's copying his songs. This is how big he is from them origins. He came from nothing, man. Tom Jones, quite a story, that man, to rag to riches. But he's all right, Tom.
Do you still have television programs in Wales doing Welsh?
You mean, we got S4C. It's our own television station, which talks a language I don't understand. If I could, it's probably crap. So I don't know. Sounds weird.
Yeah, we were talking about languages earlier on, but Gathaka, the Welsh language has all sorts of letters together without A's and E's and I's and O's.
Sounds German.
Wow. Yeah, I've my signal's a little low, so I cut my camera. I can hear you better. Yeah, I have a grandfather from Neath in Wales.
Oh, right.
I love the history. Yeah, it's really quite interesting. I know how to say one thing in Welsh. It's Pogmahorn, which is not polite, but does that mean like kiss my ass, Pogmahorn, matey?
No, man, I don't know.
No?
Cardiff,
Martin, do you know the longest? Can you say the longest word? Yeah, go. I can't say it.
Yeah, I know that bit. Go. No, I don't.
Can you say it then?
No, the shame. No, Prongairos Gungilioff. No, and it ends God. No, it's the longest name.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Oh, I know that one. Or this anti-establishmentarianism. Or which is the longer one again in the dictionary. So we got that one nailed, but not the station. No, sorry, it's not a town. It's a station. By the way, they made it up. It's the station for that town, so they could just eke out a bit more. Just them. No.
I was thinking today, because obviously with Gathaka earlier on, we were talking about languages and stuff like that. Was this all a big program? Because in the olden days, we used to speak that oldie-woldy English. And then if they got to make the whole world speak English, they had to cut it down. Obviously, European language, they say everything back to front, or we say everything forward, whatever it is. It's so different.
It's reversed too. It's like a street. The street comes first, like, a road, something road, the road comes first, so we do reverse too, similar to German. It's true. Yeah, no.
What about in Welsh? Is it the same in Welsh? Is it back to front, or is it like English, or is it just like nothing on earth Welsh? It's one of the oldest languages.
German, apparently. When this Great Escape happened, just up the road in World War II, A load of German POWs escaped. It was called the Great Escape. And a couple of they were all over Cardiff, basically, and a couple of Welsh people were stood in the Royal Hotel having a drink. And the Secret Service or the British police came in, overheard them, arrested them, took them in, and then found out they weren't exactly Germans escaping. They were Welsh, speaking their native language. It sounded so alike, you know? So, yeah, it's really similarity. Like Ichteen on our three feathers is actually from a Czechoslovakian noble family. So, you know, it's very, very intricate. You know, it's very Welsh. Welsh is very Germanic. But how that could be when our origins are Druidical, and the origins of the Druids are nothing to do with anywhere in any duchy of Saxony or anywhere in Germany, full stop, is beyond me. So that's what this smaller pockets of time fits perfectly, and you can explain it all then. But I think they repeat them, you know. I think they repeat epochs. There's this jump in, this folds in time when you're witnessing the 1700s, but like which 1700s are you actually witnessing? Manipulated again.
900. She's put the word in. It's one word, and look how many letters it is. She's put it in the chat room.
Happy birthday! Oh, thanks. I haven't got the chat room open. I forgot I was even on a chat. Oh God! Hi, people.
Yeah, Martin's birthday for everybody that didn't know, and we've got Gathaka, Flat Earth Dude. Patricia's still there. She's muted.
Hey, Wise Up, Epic Wise Up's there.
I know. I asked him if he'd come on someday. I'd love him to come.
I try grabbing him all the time, but like he's got this hamster, this amazing hamster. He's got.
Well, he wrote in the chat.
I'm looking. Question.
Yeah, he's giving up doing what he's doing, I think. Don't do it, Wise Up. Keep going.
Thanks, dude. Wise Up. Yeah, I've made one for a couple of days. He will. We're making videos for him. I am old, I know. 51, thanks. Word bait, I know. Wise Up. Don't worry. I got.
Yo, bastard.
If they don't reset us first.
Yeah, they're starting to shout out for you in the chat room now.
Martin's going to turn to stone here. And then Wise Up can say, look, there's his head.
Nail it. He won. We know exactly what happened. Oh, thanks, Lady Onyx.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a really good weekend on the scene. I've enjoyed it all. There's loads happening, haven't there?
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, man. Exciting times, loads of things coming up, and yeah, man. I only focus on the good.
Live.
Which is loads off on this epic scene, epic ride.
Yeah, it's great. Everyone's sharing their stories and
cake. Cake. Yeah. Oh, I made brownies the other night. I'm gonna have them again. I chucked the other half out. Oh, it made me feel ill. Not again.
There's loads of people in the chat room saying happy birthday to you.
I know. I'm reading them. Oh, thanks, Suzanne.
Lots of cakes.
Thanks, Orange. It's not actually my birthday for another like half an hour yet, but I'll take it early because it's probably somewhere else on the pond, on the plane. My birthday in America, it is.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, space brownies, lady, and I was being a greedy guts, and it made me like,
yeah. Makes me thirsty.
Yeah, America first. Yeah, it was. Yeah, thanks, guys.
A lot of cool things happening. Yep. Try to keep up, man. It's really hard. There's so many people making content now that daily.
I was thinking today, like I got a lot of subs like that don't even exist anymore. Like, but I got like 1,000 or something that I've subscribed to. Maybe it'd be worth like going through them and finding who even exists anymore and just trying to clean it up a bit, like because can't keep up with it all. You know,
I'm not quite to 1,000, but
I've been clicking everyone I like for years, and I just don't really think about it. Yeah, probably more than 1,000.
You've start over a few times, haven't you, Flat Earth Dude? Got strikes and things. You had to open up a new channel. So you had to sort of start again.
Yeah, shit, man.
Have you ever had a strike, Martin? Oh yeah, you have, haven't you?
Yeah, all last summer. I had 2 last summer. I had 1 a year before. But yeah, I'm on my last now. My last strike. Can't have another. So I'm laying away from talking about anything like things that they may or well they do actually. But I'm keeping away from anything governmenty. Just try and preserve my channel a little bit longer. But
are you on 2 strikes, or you just? What do you mean you can't get another strike?
Well, 1 more strike and I'm out. Like I'll have to, I've uploaded everything I make, so I could put it on my second channel and just change the name on that. But I had a threat like 2 days ago, and I saw it because of what I've been putting out. Some random video from maybe a year ago, me calling out asbestos as a hoax, yeah, which I had good evidence for, I thought. But he's like, oh, I had a relative died of asbestosis, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to report you to YouTube and have your channel taken down. So it was like over 1,000 views on the vid, but I had to set it to private. Because like for them to choose that randomly all that way back after what I put up that day was me knowing that they're threatening, like trying to knock my channel in the head, and then another series of weird ass nasties all at the same time. So it's because of the content. I knows I've hit it on a nail. Got bloody side snick in my bloody stuff.
I'm not sure if it makes any difference if you set it to private, because
no, it doesn't.
Even he saw he could strike for something, and then he knew another video that was a bit similar, so he thought, right, I better go and delete that one or take that one off, and they still strike him even though he took it down.
Yeah, I know. It happened the last time with me. The one's on private, and they still bloody at me for one's for something in London. I don't know. Can't wait, can you? But that was 2-3 days ago, so fingers crossed. Just a threat.
Back it up. Back it up.
I don't mean to talk about this in public, but does that mean you're already on 2 strikes then?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, when do they lift then?
They don't, like you get 2, because I've had 3. My last was on the Purge 2018, and I got like 1 more. No more things. No more. 1 more strike or 1 more thing, and I'm gone. Basically.
Martin.
Yeah, it's unfair.
Backup channel.
I have a hard drive full of all my stuff, but I got a couple more. I got to get back on there. It takes time, see, and I'm always busy. So, but yeah, he tries taking my channel down all the time, man.
Can I ask you something on that? Because obviously you're finding loads of pictures and information. Do you ever worry about being copyright striked for that? Because obviously you're showing so much information. I just wondered.
No, well, I know what you can get clobbered on. You get a soft strike on music. I don't even bother with that. I will. The only way, if I do have to show a bit of a video, the old no volume, speed it up, but only seconds, and you can get away with up to 19 seconds anyway. So I've been just borderlining for the last year, or maybe 6 months, and I've been on touch wood until this time lucky. So. If they want to get rid of you, then we got to press the button anyway.
Yeah.
For any old crap, something I said, and when you're flat earther, it's anything. So,
right.
I know what you mean though, because I wanted to explain something about the aeroplanes, and I came across a nitrogen generator. But the thing is, I wanted to play it, but you think, yeah, but if I play it, that's someone else's work, and now I've got to speak it. I think Peter and Pete are going to talk about it. They'll do a much better job than me, but. I worry now about things because they never, even when you strike, they never say at this time in the video you use this and we're not happy. No, they just does it. It's gone, and you never know what you've done.
It's gone. It's a horrible shock as well because it's just like you think, wow, on work. It is. It's horrible. But
yeah, that's funny. It's like in military circles, the information only flows one way. Now it seems like consensus or society flows one way.
Yeah.
So, like, it's unfair, Martin, that someone can take your video and use it as they will and stuff. But if something's copyrighted or within a corporate scene, and then it gets actually
the effort, man, the effort.
Yeah. Well, there's a censor. There's a censor for the truth. Definitely, there's a war on for control of our minds and our consciousness, even our basic thought forms. They're and it doesn't take generations to unplug yourself from some of the lies, and you end up shaking your head off and going and it's
best way.
yourself into a commitment with something that's right, and on the, as Astral was saying earlier, if it's for the good, you're sort of protected no matter what. You don't need to be anxious or have any fear.
No, man, no fear. I don't get worried about anything. There's no point to it, really. It's everything that anything that's even crap that happens, I always think this one thing. It's meant to be.
That's right.
I will think, all right, it's pants now, but does this mean that like a little bit further on down the line, it's going to work out to be much better because that shitty circumstance happened?
Yep.
Because of events need to go that way, so I'll just ride it. Know it's pants and just see it for what it is, meant to be, crap or not. It's part of our lives, so just go with it. So that's the way I do it. Anyway,
nice. That's the way I roll.
Yeah, man. Best way is just flow it, go with the flow. That's all you can do. That's all I've ever done, really. Ego's no good. That'll kill you every time, man. It's just transparent. It's bullshit anyway, all of it. False ego is something else. That's a parasitical form, that is. Telling you to be something you're not. Away from your true self.
It's all learned behaviors.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's what's going on here. I see straight through it. I can't be bothered with all that.
You've got to have an ego, but it's how you use it. And the thing is that nowadays that ego goes me, and I'm not responsible for myself.
Yeah, that's it. That's you. No, you are right, Karen. Yeah.
Together and be part of consciousness together. Now it's because you need a bit of ego even to get out of bed.
Personality, or having a personality, is that ego? Somebody's persona or somebody's personality, is that an ego? Do you think? I suppose it is, isn't it? That aspect of.
Yeah, you got to look into that word. Ego.
Personality.
I was having a conversation earlier this week, and that we were touching upon our position as people within a society and to be dependent on another or to be responsible, and the interloping of like a different speciality. If someone's good, has milk, someone makes bread, you can't do both. You have to sort of share these skills that we have. And it seems that's been adopted because the system sort of through our ego, we have everything, all these different things we want, but we're shopping at a supermarket rather than trading and talking with each other in a community. The actions required for those things, if we want to really know how to do them, it's easier to take the easy way and have everything than have to learn to question a little bit of what you already think's true. It's like the way it's interesting. People refer to the Goldilocks zone as with physics, like the Earth is just in this magical bit where it doesn't fry and doesn't freeze.
Perfect little place.
Lost in space, and to actually have to teach people astrophysics with a reference to a child's story, and then have to chase your tail using all sorts of unprovable reasons, Coriolis, gravity, Newton's law. Oh no, Newton's second law negates Tesla. Forget the ether. Accommodate, reappropriate, and corrupt every natural science and get your fingers in every little pie, and then we can't sort of pull it out. Oh no, it'll all go to shit. Well, it's going to have to bloody go to shit, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're going to reset it again? Good on you. Come on. Let's do it. We're not calling bullshit anymore. No lies.
Can't live a lie, man. You can't live a lie. I've been living a lie all my life. A lot of us have, man.
Right.
It's through kinesiology. You do muscle testing, and it's proven. You can say my name's Joe Blow, and my muscle won't react. When you know your name and you hold it up, it's the human subconscious can't lie. So we're caught in that conundrum, and we need the circus and a bit of bread so we don't do the tall poppy syndrome and get our heads chopped off. But
agreed.
back in the day, that used to happen to the kings and queens if they got a bit out of line. So where are they gone? We replaced them with robots. They'll never catch us now. keep lying then. I mean,
Yeah.
Mind you, someone like Martin is resetting things. I'm not saying he's resetting it. He's resetting everything by talking about his history.
It's very interesting as well. I love looking at that stuff. I've got a couple of shows to catch up on yet because you've gone through some very interesting stuff.
Well, just watch The Flash and the one to follow it, them two.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Flash and then Dust. And then a lot of the pieces of this puzzle, this big puzzle, will 100% fall into place for you. Honestly. Everyone who has watched it is the same thing as myself. Like, it is definitely, you do not walk down the street looking at the world in the same way. You never will again.
No.
You know that it's true because it resonates with your soul. You're like, yeah, of course.
Between you and Wise Up, man, everything I'm looking at is like.
It's been a big inspiration to me. If it wasn't for watching Wise Up's work, I wouldn't have even gone down his fields in the first place.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, man, big inspiration.
Dude, man, I look at mountains and I'm like, oh, dude, that could have been a whole city just smashed. You know, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
And more. It's an advanced civilization, man. It was under the, subterranean all that time. You see it is now anyway. It makes it clear for you anyway. I knew we were using the same similar building construction techniques as now. It shows you. And you can see it. So, makes it clear for you, which I love.
There was a question for you, Martin, in the chat room. RS wanted to know that. He said, can you ask Martin about convex Earth, please? That was just a question.
I have never experienced any convexity except for earlier my drone, because it's got a fisheye lens on it, and it looked like I lived on a tiny little ball. But I had this discussion, and everyone always jumps straight away to, what about a bubble? What about a bubble? Well, surface tension is something completely different. We don't talk about that anyway, and you're not going to get any convexity unless you've got a fisheye lens. Go up there, and it wobbles about. You might get a concavity, convexity, and it might settle at the true reality. That eventually. Oh God, so what a game, eh?
Do you think they'll?
When that convex video came out, and
you know what? I was against it from the very beginning
for a bit because I thought, well, at least they're showing that they've done laser tests and all this kind of stuff, and then basically.
No, man. That's tumbleweed. Ground control to. Do you know what they've done on my video? When everyone watches my video, they put a Chris Hadfield video on my advert, so everyone got to watch NASA. Really evil they are.
Oh, I was looking at some footage last night, just an actual how the ISS works footage.
Yeah, I've seen it. That video.
Breaking down the first 7 minutes. The first 7 minutes says everything. It's like,
mate, do you know the pilot? Like, he's saying that he can feel the heat outside. I wanted to screen grab it, put it on a video. I'm like, what? You said you can feel the heat. You nutter. You be dead. Yeah, man, that's a good film to pull apart. That is. I'm telling you. They say in one part of it, there's actually surface tension. I'm like, what? They're saying that there's like something to resist. Oh yeah, there's all particles now leaking off, and it causes some sort of friction. Friction that doesn't disturb an astronaut when he leaves a vessel at 17,500 miles an hour.
A little dodgy. Yeah.
Drop a link if you can.
Yeah.
It's a good documentary to pull apart. Honestly, there's. Mate, there was all 10 things in there I was going to pull out of there back about 6 months ago. I thought that'd make an ace video.
Yeah.
The pilot saying you could feel the heat. What? Did you feel the heat of the engines?
Martin, leave something for the other flat earthers to do, man.
Yeah, that's it. I got a lot of NASA stuff.
You got enough to do, man. You're good.
I have. I get the odd temptation to go through some of my NASA stuff, but I fight it. There's plenty out there.
I want you to do the castle tours.
Yeah, I thought about it today. I talked about it today, actually, because I've got this little drone as well. You get some aerial footage. You might have a one. Man, I got so much close by as well. Like, so yeah, this spring I'll definitely do that. I'll get up and do some historical vlogs. I started to do some last year, but like things went tits up. But yeah, I got some time now. Yeah, definitely gonna do that. Yeah, man, I've got 6,000-year-old apparently settlement nearby with
man,
yeah, man, with one of the oldest churches in Wales. I've done a video. It's on my channel anyway. Twice I've done it. St Mary's Church, but they say it's a natural feature, but it's like Karen Sidbury Hill. I look at it over and over again and think that's man-made, man. That looks like it's like a pyramid with the top chopped off. So I'm thinking it's more than what they tell you, and I think all the landscape is more from this old civilization. So I think I'll do that one, only because it's about 10 minutes away. I got history.
Have you looked into Egyptians in Australia?
I've heard all sorts about that. Yeah, it's crazy shit. Yeah, no, not only there, everywhere. It's not just that culture of Egypt of being like
Mayans,
India as well. Yeah, it's crazy. But my evidence proves that you can't really anymore attribute pyramid science, pyramid energy to just Egypt, because they're just the ones that seem to be hanging around. It seems the pyramids are like every single. Jerusalem has got loads. Britain's covered. All of antiquity is covered.
Mexico,
Tataria.
Also, the Dutch landed in Australia technically before Captain Cook did.
Yeah,
and looking at the charts and that, they make up this god awful voyage all across this supposed globe. That when he charted the Antarctica, when he's done a completely different sort of chart on his first and second voyage, and it's the whole logbooks. They're actually been bloody changed up and mixed out and swapped with something else.
You can't trust anything from the evil East India Company, really, either, because they're propaganda ministers. So,
well, you never know.
Yeah, it's
all up to be questioned now. I think that there's things coming to shadow, cobwebs coming out of the closet. You know.
Yeah, it's really strange. I never stumbled upon all this stuff years ago, though, because I spent so much time in libraries, looking for rare catalogs and stuff, and then some of the stuff then it just turns up in a matter of like literally months, because I literally look for the stuff. It was like literally paradigm changing stuff to prove the things that I'm like literally thinking. It's like, how can this be? Where has this stuff been, and why would they fill libraries now online with such paradigm changing information? Is that just another deeper, like the flat Earth awakening? Is it just a deeper awakening for us all? Because I feel like definitely flat Earth is some sort of rollout. It definitely is. It's worked like nefariously by the media. They keep it on a slow burner, on the back burner. It's always there.
Keep it on slow.
Yeah, you got it. But you feel that when's the next big star, or when's the next big flat Earth thing come up with, for them lot. So it's always on the back burner. But I think there's other bigger things. The whole story. These controllers. What's their true purpose? What's our true purpose? What have they got in mind outside of resetting us? And what we're doing here? It can't be just for a slavery purpose to work in a bank. It must be something deeper. So it's spiritual. It's a spiritual thing. That's why they get us into these stadiums, man, in like 80,000 capacities. I think this energy field that we produce, I think that is something that they bleed off of. They're like energy vampires anyway. So I think there's an aspect of us with the whole thing. I think the key is with us, our consciousness, our spirituality. And I think that's the deeper understanding with the whole of the awakening, I believe. All of it. Us. Yeah, and that's why they try to not let us wake up, you see. That's why everyone's asleep. That's their worst. It's a nightmare for them. Everyone wakes up to their purpose.
Dilute the elder stories and the elder stories of all the islands, all the beautiful places and different cultures in the world. They're worth staying intact. That old connection with the forest and the languages. It's very important.
It must be beautiful.
Very important.
Imagine how this place was in the golden era, mate. Like it's like a slum now. But imagine in the golden era, I bet this place was scintillating. I bet everything was glistening. I bet people were like magical. Like, I can imagine it. I can imagine in my mind how brilliant this place was. Now it's like a dark. vibrational place. They play with us on all different levels, harmonics, mind control. Everyone's oblivious to it all.
One bad apple spoils the whole bunch, mate. Bloody hell, what are you going to do? Always like that. There's always one bully in the playground until all the other kids stand up and go, all right, you.
They know people are going to unplug, brother. They know. They expect. When, you know, some people are never going to, you know, the brainwashing's not going to take. Or it's not taken with this one.
It doesn't take with a lot of people, yeah.
They
like,
that.
Did you notice in that astronaut, how the ISS works videos, the first thing she does, when we brush our teeth, and she goes, I swallow the toothpaste, but I wouldn't recommend that, or something.
I posted it. I know. Crazy cop.
Horseradishes.
Mate,
so imagine all the young children there eating their fluoride toothpaste to be like the astronaut, mate. Oh, and she does some code. I'd really love to do a reverse speech analysis for that, because you can do some reverse speech analysis and find. We're talking earlier about the subconscious human mind. There's this. It's interesting to look at. Or they can get quite freaky quickly when you start hearing other phrases come out in reverse.
They do it.
Speech. Quite interesting, but just the whole thing seems so obviously staged, like bad stage. And in the future, it's gonna be like we're looking at the moon landings back in the day, and obviously now we can go, hey, there's problems there. I'm looking at this new stuff already with the mind like, hey, can anyone else see these problems here? Am I the only one that can see that there's a problem with this this footage? But it's bought and paid for, eh? Like everyone's rooting for the globe.
wasn't Elon Musk supposed to go to the moon this year, or has everyone just forgotten? I thought he said last year he was going to go to the moon, drive around, or go around and come back, or something. Can everyone remember this, or am I the only one?
Yes, talk about the Elon. Yes, he's got some interesting things to say. I'll bring some footage forward soon of what I've found in using reverse speech analysis. Clearly, there's some other clues going on. Yeah, I reckon he knows it's obviously not a ball, and he just got caught up in the drama, and I had to put him on the back burner by getting him to smoke a weed joint with
Joe Rogan, man,
which had further split him politically from having a say, and they can control it. He's like malaligned in certain other parallels. It's about malaligning parallels and all this sort of really deep twisted stuff. When you get pulling out the bits and meats and bones of what's actually happening, you can see the fine lines of social conditioning and how they orchestrate events and people's reactions and have every aspect already covers. And even if there's something uninspected in the algorithm, they can use what they know already about where that data is collected and how that can be translated into another extraction of fucking thought form and energy, which just sets us off into not being in that moment, like in the moment, that's where we are. Most of us, we can find that moment, that time to have that moment. That's special.
Yeah, man. We're always in the now. We don't call it the present for nothing, because it's a present.
Well, yeah, and you can call bullshit when you see it. You can see something, that's bullshit. And no matter who else in the world would ask you, you can actually say, no, I actually think that's bullshit. And you might have people that start coming around you and giving you money. No, but come on. You want to do business? I want to do business. And as long as you've never done business, you're not holding back any secret. You just want to you're just curious about knowledge. You're not going against
you're not giving away state secrets, really. Just tell the truth. That's right, mate.
You got to be yourself, and speak forward with people directly.
Yeah, man.
That's the best way to step forward, is just having that honest interaction. Because that you learn. You have an interaction, a learning process, and sparks start flying, and you have that moment of, I don't know, it's a deeper understanding. Like you want to get to the next level, you know, even though it's hard.
Yeah, even if you might not like what you find when you get there.
This is true. Yeah, it's like
I don't always like the truth, but it's better to know the truth.
It's just tainted. It's because, like, when you know your adversary's like pure evil, and you know you got this battle on going, you sort of like you're on the peripheral, so you get like the edges of it, so you feel it a bit. It's fucking horrible. It's horrible. You feel it, like, you know, it's just a nasty thing. It's there. It's there, and I think flat earthers definitely feel it. But this is the spiritual battle that's been ongoing for years here, people. There's no denying it. Spiritual warfare.
It's strange that, like I said earlier on, it's like most people are watching the television screen, but for some reason we can see behind the screen. Why these other people don't?
Well, this is it. Why are some people waking up and the hypnosis is lifting, and you know, a good percentage? But I think it's more people waking up now, Karen. Honestly, I'm getting people coming left, right, and centre to me. Really, really. And if it's not just to the flat earth, it's definitely government dialectics and the way things are played, the way men or peoples are played against one another. You know, like the way they do these things and they blame Muslims for stuff. So people are waking up to that one when they can see who the real culprits are. So, you know, the way they, you know, cause division against races, things like this, and people are waking up that it's them, the common enemy. We're all together in this. We're all actually together in this. We're all one, whether they like it or not. That's the truth. And we've all got a common enemy, unseen, and we don't really know who it is. People might want to point fingers, but I don't believe it's any of them. I think it's something completely separate. Maybe
believe we're some spinning ball, that we've been to the moon, and that we're millions of years old with dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff, Karen. The Big Bang, the whole thing from the very initiation of something out of nothing, by the way, is how their whole concept starts, is a ridiculous notion. You know, and if you look at it and you really look at it, it's Kabbalah. It's a Kabbalistic faith. In the Kabbalistic faith, their creation myth starts with it starts out of nothing, a cylinder, and it's an empty cylinder, and then it's born. It's just appears out of nothing.
Plant or something.
Yeah. And then an exponential event because it gets lonely, the consciousness, and it wants something to talk to. It's an exponential growth in Kabbalistic faith, and it's they're copying it with the Big Bang. Well, I don't take a genius to work out, you know, who brings us the Big Bang. And you've got like Lemerie, who's like a Jesuit priest, and the rest of them, who all bring in these theories that everyone has to live with, are all of the same persuasion and the same school of thought. You know, it doesn't take a genius to work out what's been going on. It's crazy. It's crazy. All of them. Name any one of these schools of thought, and you can pinpoint them right back to the same club every time. With science is concerned, that is. But it's a deeper thing, as you said. It's a spiritual warfare. This is something bigger going on. I've always said since the very beginning, guys, I think it's supernatural by nature. And I think that maybe what's going on is maybe beyond our understanding for now, because I feel like, you know, the tapestry is there. We'll only ever see the back of the tapestry, you know, the bits, the knots, the ties it all together, and not the true picture on the other side, unless we're meant to. The Creator's got a plan, all right, guys. We're definitely in this plan. We're no doubt in my soul with that. And the flat earth is definitely part of it. There's no doubt in my soul of that. We're on no bloody spinning ball. And then the history as well. This fake narrative, which is all fairy tales. All of it. All that information handed to us, and everybody's running with it. With no, you know, thought. Just does me in.
Well, that's it, Martin. It's like when I remember as a young fella in nothing I like more than the smell of books in the library when you go in. And you go in and you got fiction, non-fiction. And then you go like, And they go, well, so what, do you want to go and read storybooks, or are you ready for fiction or non-fiction? And then when you like it's like no fiction. It's like, no, you got to know fiction, and you go and learn all these truths, and you're going, wow, and it divides you instantly in sciences and medical fields and natural sciences and humanity and biology and all this that links in with this whole idea of a heliocentric model.
I honor the light, yeah.
And we go hop, skip, jump to become adolescents and adults without even looking at the body of works and what's behind it, and that's just the knowledge we have access to. How about other things that, if you are a curious mind, will go and search and find things that will question his reality and actually might deeply change your foundations, and then we go on our hero's journey, a hero's quest. Yeah,
I did it. I didn't go to Tibet, but I did join the Navy in a quest for what they say to find yourself, don't they? So I suppose that's what I did.
Yeah, that's what we do, isn't it? And we come to the understanding that maybe there's more truth in the non-fiction as fiction than fiction in the non-fiction in life. Like, how about some of the myths, some of the things that are said? Oh no, that's old-fashioned, folkloric, mythological.
Dragons.
It doesn't exist. Dragons and all that. Oh, but dinosaurs did. Oh, but wait, they actually did, because
and dragons.
They didn't find any real dinosaurs. So, because the bone wars and that happened with the.
That's what I says to people. Look into the bone wars. I had an argument on a bus stop with a lady.
Can I just say something?
Cool pics.
Birthday to you.
Oh, thanks, guys.
To you.
Happy birthday, dear Martin.
You know it's a psyop, don't you?
Happy birthday. Total psyop.
Blow the candle.
I've got a candle. Do you want to see my candle? You never seen a candle like this? Oh, I can.
Light a spleef.
Giant cog. Shit. I have with a giant candle in it as well.
Glad about. Yeah.
I don't do things by half.
Anyway, just to embarrass you, Martin, by singing happy birthday.
Listen, when I was in school, they used to chase me along the ground, grab hold of me, give me bumps. Did you have that? The bumps? Where they kick shit out of you while they're doing it? Did you have that in school? No.
Oh.
Yeah, the bumps.
It's a British thing. It's not good. Do the bump. Do the bump. No, you'd be young for that.
Up, by the way, if you don't know, they go, however old you are, they just sort of bounce you on the floor. You almost hit the floor, and you go 1, 2, 3.
It was ace the bump, man. You could get on the dance floor, and you had to bang besides with the person next to you. So obviously the next lady next to you. So you'd be smiling away and banging backsides, and be like, "This is a good dance, isn't it?" To the bump. The good old days. You can
whatever you want. Dun, dun, dun. That was the dance one as well.
When they all sat on the floor, oops upside your head. Oops upside your head. That was pretty damn good.
You don't see nightclubs doing that anymore, do you?
No, man. I don't know. There's raves here in the local. We got a big field, and a big sound comes down from Birmingham. I sets up a big Mackie free. They cram about maybe up to 1,000 people in there, light show, lasers, absolutely thumping. And they have that on the weekends, just a couple of fields away. It's great. So we have stuff like that, local raves, and they are mad.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And people in those sort of scenes doing bush parties and stuff, rave parties in nature, they're really alternative thinkers and sort of pretty ecological.
These are like big yardie gangsters, and they're doing it for free so they can sell fucking crack cocaine and
fair enough. Different edge. Yeah, different side of the scene. Yes.
It can be heavy, man. There's that feeling that something could happen. That's why I don't like some me in trouble.
Yeah, there's some nasty characters around, that's for sure. Yeah.
There's in my city, mate. Every city.
But it is pretty nasty what they've done to us, isn't it? I mean, if they have to go this far to cover up the lies rather than just being honest that we had a great big mud flood in the early 1800s which destroyed everything, wouldn't that have been better?
They couldn't tell us that. There's loads of reasons why they couldn't tell us that, because It kills things like the Neolithic era, dinosaurs, all of it, evolution.
I'd say,
in smaller pockets of time, it would kill climate change. It would kill everything, even the globe. It would kill a lot. It would. So they have to run with it. They can't tell us that we're prone to events that are possibly man-made by controllers that may be outside of their control. Do you think of that? Maybe they just parley with them, swap the information, give them people, give them slaves. Who knows what? Maybe they do deals for information.
We're all enslaved in a way, aren't we? Obviously, we're more free thinkers and we live in our own bit in our houses. But the whole point was to enslave us.
Yeah, man. Nobody's free. They think they can get. They got a passport, Karen. You can jump on a plane. But don't think for a second you can go where you want. You're on a flight path. Same as when you're on a ship. You're on a shipping route. You cannot. If you go off your shipping route, right? You know what happens? The local air force and jets come and escort you back to the shipping lane. It's happened to me half a dozen times, Karen. This is what happens if you go where you want. So it's easy to hide land in you. It is. It is.
Missing in action. Yeah.
We're waiting to hear back from Dave Walsh, who's supposedly going to the Edge. Did you hear about that or any of the hangouts?
Yeah, what's going on there then?
Well, he should be scaling the wall, well, the ice, wherever it is, and then going to the flip side.
Yeah, where's he entering? The Erebus?
He wouldn't say, in fact, he wouldn't give very much information at all. But in one sense, it made people go, oh, he's lying, it's rubbish. But on the other hand, what do you expect? He can't say anything. Oh, I'm going in Antarctica. Oh, my goodness, they'd be arresting him. They are taking their passports. They are taking different clothes. They've got drones. They've got blue.
On the I've got like a copy of the Antarctica Treaty, and it does state if you go anywhere on the Antarctica continent, you need to be escorted by a representative of your country.
But it doesn't mean they've gone there.
And you won't, this is another thing, you won't find tours between Antarctic bases.
You won't, mate. Yeah. They are only set
because, yeah, they're not next to each other. They on the map they are, but they're not actually.
Exception Island and that, I bet you any money. And you're only on the peninsula ever. I bet you. And I'm on the Murdoch, the other side. That's all it is.
Yeah, I think I've probably one or two that you think you can get to, and they make it longer than it is on the map, and that it's actually shorter when you actually are there. It's tricky.
Right.
I mean, if I had 500 years of putting all the best people, the best minds into creating a lie, and I had time to get the maths right, I'd do it right. I mean, and free thinkers are making a dent from the traces good men have behind us, the little taps of knowledge, so they can actually make a difference for each other. And I think somehow it's sort of effect. You can't actually hold a lie forever. You know, the truth has to come forward. So, I mean,
crazy the way it's all gone, though. The whole thing, the whole experience. I never dreamt in a million years that it would have been like this. I don't know what was in front.
You could go back in time. It would be like this, would you? No, I agree with you.
Well, turn the clock back to say Leicester, Karen, 2 years ago, what it was like then, and how it is now. Think about it. It's like huge. It's big.
But matters has changed in about the last 10, 20 years. At this time where, you know, in the 90s, you could still, even if it was documents, you could find stuff about flat earth. They cut that out. Now, this last 10, 20 years, we've changed into an even more, since even with 9/11, you think it would make the people kinder to each other when things like this happen, or it doesn't. It's just made it work. People are noticing, you know, 20 years ago we used to be outside, there's just so much has changed.
Yeah, I didn't like that after 9/11, the way people treated Muslims and all. I'm blaming them, looking at them funny on buses and that. I really didn't like it one bit. Felt uncomfortable, felt embarrassed for them. So I could see they were just people with their kids, like how stupid are people just believe the news from the off. It really pissed me off, that did. Funny time though. Whole world changed the day after, guys, didn't it? It was never the same again.
That's for sure. Yeah.
It is gone 12 o'clock now. How much longer do you stay on? Because we've been on for 3 hours.
I'm going to go and make something to eat quick before I go to bed, and for my son, and see how he is, because he's home. And just catch up. I got about 1,000 comments or something again, loads of emails. But do you know what? My eyes are gone and I can't concentrate on it all, so I'll leave all that till the morning. And I got to work on my next vlog. So,
thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on and joining. Also, Gathaka, thank you so much because we haven't had a hangout with you for a while. So I really appreciate you coming on. And he played.
Yeah. Hi, Martin, Karen, listeners. Thank you, and great to catch up and share some of the knowledge with you there a bit. And I look forward to it another time. Let's do it again soon. And
yeah, can we say goodbye off air? We'll say goodbye off air, but we'll say goodbye on air now. And thank you to everybody in the chat room. I've had a few computer problems. If you saw that I dropped off and came back.
No.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It's done that a few times.
hi, everyone.
Quiet. Yeah, true.
Thank you to everybody in the chat room. Thank you, Flat Earth Dude, Astral, Patricia,
Thank you, Karen.
Karen Martin.
Thank
and
you.
happy birthday again, Martin.
Gathaka.
Yeah, anyway. Good evening.
I had my savings all just now. I was stuck in my base.
Yeah. Bye, everybody. From us.
See you on the other side.
Peace and love.